On this day, Li Su received a message from Yu Yu. This message stone traveled a long distance and brought Yu Yu's message to Li Su. Yu Yu will not come back for the time being. More than 10 years ago, during a Heavenly Devil ceremony in the Heavenly Devil Palace, she once again deceived a lot of Heavenly Devil's power, and she is still digesting it. Perhaps because she was afraid that Li Su would be worried, she took the risk of summoning Li Su after more than 10 years after the Heavenly Devil ceremony. Looking at it this way, Yu Yu will probably reach the peak of nascent soul faster than Master. Li Su thought. Although Master Shangguan Shui is an immortal spiritual roots, she needs to cultivate by herself after all. Over the years, Li Su has refined quite a few medicine pills for his master. When Master left the test last time, the foundation had already been repaired. Then her current cultivation speed might not be so fast. Li Su didn't know how fast the other first-rank spiritual roots were. Like Lu Xinyue's fourth-rank spiritual roots, under the premise of the top resources in the north, she spent more than 100 years to build the gold core, 600 years to build the nascent soul, and the remaining 800 years, rushed to the middle level of the baby. In other words, Lu Xinyue is more than 1,500 years old now. Lu Xinshui is also fourth-rank spiritual roots, but her fourth-rank spiritual roots is better, and more suitable for cultivating water system cultivation technique. So although Lu Xinshui is the same age as Lu Xinyue, Lu Xinshui is now nascent soul in July. Of course, if there is no Kui Shuiju, it will take some years for Lu Xinshui to reach the 7th floor of nascent soul. This is the 4th rank spiritual roots. And if it is 3rd rank spiritual roots, with the guarantee of the top resources in the north, they can reach gold core in a few decades, and they can reach nascent soul in 400 to 500 years. What if it is 2nd rank spiritual roots? It will be faster, and on the premise that it is still the top resource in the northern border, nascent soul may be able to do it within 300 years. 1st rank spiritual roots, and definitely faster. Master's current age, according to Li Su's guess, should be almost 400 years old. Her situation is quite special. Her foundations were damaged before. Now, her foundation has been restored, and her cultivation in the nascent soul stage will definitely not be slow. The key to is the most. She breakthrough apotheosis, no bottleneck. But Yuyue will definitely be faster than Shizun to reach the peak of nascent soul. It's just that Yuyu's impact on Washin is a hurdle. This hurdle, if you are not careful, you will be smashed to pieces. That is to say, if Yuyue has always been able to cheat power from Heavenly Devil, and can also turn these powers into own, every time she breakthroughs a realm, her rise in this realm will be very rapid. Li Su thought. For Yu, the problem is just a thunder disaster. Within a realm, her strength will rise very quickly. The premise is that she can fully digest the power cheated from Heavenly Devil without leaving any hidden dangers. This hidden danger does not refer to Heavenly Devil's tampering. After Heavenly Devil has the seal of Heavenly Devil, 100% will not do tampering again. One must know that the Heavenly Devil, more than the devil cultivators in the Heavenly Devil Palace, hoped that these devil cultivators could survive one after another thunder disaster. If this is tampered with, how will people survive the thunder disaster? Therefore, this hidden danger means that the foundation of each realm must be firmly established, and at the same time, the heart's demon should not be given a chance to breed. After learning about Yu Yu's situation, Li Su felt relieved. This year, he turns 250. Nanming, take these lower layers. Li Su took out a large stack of talismans and gave it to his most powerful son. This son is his first son, no spiritual roots, just a mortal, now gray-haired. But Li Su has been extending his life for him. Because this son is indeed very capable, and in the family, he can also convince the public. With him in charge, Li Su saves a lot of worry. A mortal, under the influence of Li Su's medicine pill, forcibly lived to be more than 200 years old. In addition, Li Su extended the life of his wife, own eldest daughter-in-law. This is because Nanming happened to be very dedicated and only married one in his life. He listened to Li Su very much in other things, but he was very stubborn in this matter. Li Su let him go. Because of Gold Finger, I can't be dedicated if I want to. My first son is willing to be dedicated, so let him go. Nanming's 2 children, Li Su, also extended their lives. Otherwise, if he had only one person left, he might be completely ashamed. After all, they are mortals. it is the state of mind of mortals. Li Su didn't know how long he could extend it. It's finally complete. On this day, when Lu Xinshui gave birth to another spiritual root's offspring for Li Su whispered. More than 10 years have passed since she married Lu Xinyue. Li Su's cultivation base, nascent soul, is finally complete. Not the pinnacle, but complete. In the past 10 years, the descendants of Li Su's spiritual roots have already broken through 400, which is very close to 500. The number of descendants has already broken through 500,000. The number of descendants is calculated in real time. Since there are many mortals descended from Li Su, some descendants will run out of lifespan every year. Although his medicine pill can prolong life, it is impossible for Li Su to give medicine pill to hundreds of thousands of descendants. If it is a mortal, there are only good enough descendants, the regiment will get medicine pill. However, the lifespan itself is also increasing in the offspring of Li Su. Especially the descendants born later, many descendants of mortals, can live to be over 100 years old. Li Su feels that this should involve family blood. With the continuous increase of Li Su's strength, the blood of the whole family is also continuously strengthened. Of course, those born in the past will not be able to enjoy it. If you want to enjoy it, it is estimated that when Li Su becomes a fairy, it may be able to stimulate the blood. It has an effect similar to, one person attains the Tao, and the chicken and dog ascend to heaven. Not only did the cultivation base arrive at nascent soul successfully, but so did the other rewards Li Su received. His current pill refining, formation, and cultivation base are still 3,500 years old, and Li Su hasn't added any more, so he doesn't need it for the time being. But Li Su's talisman cultivation base has reached 3,500 years, and the experience consumed is 3,000 years of experience. Because the talisman cultivation base has been around for 1,000 years. After the talisman cultivation base reaches 3,000 years, like other experience, every 1,000 experience after that, increase 500 cultivation base. His body cultivator cultivation base has reached 1,000 years, which is comparable to the body cultivator of nascent soul early stage. In other words, the current Li Su can compete with nascent soul just by using his body. Of course, it's not a little difficult to be unarmed. So Li Su built himself 2 inferior treasures. A gun, a shield. These 2 low-grade treasures are what he is planning to use his body to fight at the critical moment. The reason why a gun is used is because for a body cultivator, the heavier and sharper the weapon, the better. If it's a sword, it must be a big sword. The slender sword in the TV series is broken for a powerful body cultivator. The magic treasures of immortal cultivators, even swords, are seldom very long. Like the flying immortal sword, which is a low-grade treasure, it is still very short and sharp, and it is even sharper this way. It is not impossible to use a long sword, but at this stage, if it is too long, it will bring many adverse effects. You can't ignore its shortcomings for the sake of looking good. As for the Dian sword, it is a long sword, but the Dian sword is also a great sword. After 1,000 years of body cultivator cultivation base breakthrough, another change has taken place. With 1,000 years of experience, 500 years of body cultivator cultivation base could be added before. Now it can only add 250 years, which is halved again. Although it was cut in half, Li Su quickly found a little bit. That is, there is no bottleneck in body cultivator cultivation base, just add experience to it. You know, the body cultivator will also face the bottleneck. Now, Li Su only needs to add experience, but it was cut in half, so after Li Su was added to 1,000 body cultivator cultivation base, there was no more addition. Wait until you have more experience. Then, Li Su added the puppet cultivation base to 3,000 years, and all the remaining hundreds of experience were added to the soul. That is to say, this time Li Su arrived at nascent soul after consummation. He also ushered in a wave of great growth in other aspects. Pill refining tools, formation, talismans, and puppets are all over 3,000 years old. The cultivation base of body refining has also reached 1,000 years, which is comparable to the body cultivator of nascent soul early stage. The next step is to transform into a god. Li Su looked at the entire Li Mansion. From his current position, Li Mansion and the entire Los Angeles area can be seen in full view. Los Angeles is almost becoming an immortal city, and there are quite a few immortal cultivators active here. The Li family's business is all involved in repairing the immortal world. For example, responsible for the acquisition and sale of some demonic beasts. After the opening of Mangkang Mountain, the Fourth Order demonic beasts were cleaned up by the ant in charge, and more immortal cultivators went to Mangkang Mountain to hunt and kill demonic beasts. The demonic beasts business has become an industrial chain. If this continues, the demonic beasts in Quankong Mountain will be killed sooner or later. This is also in Li Su's plan. When he takes away the fragments of immortal artifacts from Mangkang Mountain, which is tens of thousands of miles away, will become a fairy mountain with the strongest spiritual qi. At that time, Li Su can move the Li family up there. Apotheosis. After the nascent soul is perfected, Su can break through and transform into a god. There is still no need for him to attack Washan. Up to gold core is 500 years of cultivation base, condensed first rank gold core. To nascent soul is 1000 years of cultivation base, to conclude the top nascent soul. Now, after turning into a god, the requirements have been further raised. Li Su needs 505,689 points of god building energy to break through the god transformation stage. 500 points is enough. The highest is 5,689. 5,689 represents the energy for building the gods that Li Su needs to build the strongest soul. This strongest upper limit is a bit high. Why not an integer? Li Su thought. Soon, he knew why. The reason why it is not a whole number is because in these god-building energies, there is a part that strengthens the soul. Washan means that after the nascent soul is consummated, the nascent soul is fused with the divine soul or the soul, and shaped into a primordial spirit, which is called Washan. Like gold core and nascent soul, the same level of cultivators and primordial spirits also have their advantages and disadvantages. Therefore, the quality of the primordial spirit at the beginning depends on two aspects. One is nascent soul, and the other is divine soul. Li Su also strengthened the soul, but he didn't strengthen the soul too much in order to add some means later. Now, this 5,689 points of god-building energy has the part of strengthening the soul. The specific ratio of god-building energy is the obtained cultivation base, 1 year cultivation base, is equal to 1 point of cultivation energy. The experience gained, 2 points of experience, is equal to 1 point of god-building energy. In god-building energy, a minimum of 40% experience is required. Yuanshan is different from nascent soul. The upper limit of the top Yuanshan is very high. Moreover, the cultivation of the soul is not easy. Spiritual practice, the association with spiritual roots is not particularly great either. A genius of first-rank spiritual roots may not be much better than other immortal cultivators in terms of progress in spiritual cultivation. Of course, if the first-rank spiritual roots randomly joins a sacred land, the other party can come up with a bunch of medicine pills that enhance the soul and powerful cultivation technique, which is incomparable to others. In Li Su's opinion, the primordial spirit built with 2,000 points of god-building energy may be a disaster. If the accumulation of 5,689 points is enough, the completed Yuanshan may really be called the strongest in history. Like the first-rank gold core, a first-rank spiritual roots can also be built. But for Yuanshan, the upper limit of floating is too much. More than 5,000, it's not difficult. Li Su thought. He wasn't ready to settle down. Since you want to become the god of transformation, then you should become the real strongest god of transformation in history. For the current Li Su, more than 5,000 points of god-building energy are not too much. Although there are rigid requirements for the ratio of experience, I am afraid that experience must be used to strengthen the soul. But Li Su will soon have a big reward. Once the big reward of breakthrough 500 for the descendants of spiritual roots arrives, the energy of building gods will be full immediately. The extra ones are still there after the breakthrough. Seeing that Washan was right in front of him, Li Su was in a particularly good mood. At this time, Li Su heard a sound, like the sound from the sea wind. Li Su thought of something and surrounded the conch of the shark girl Bai Ling. Sure enough, it was the conch that made the sound. Li Su remembered Bai Ling's words. Is this what she wants to see herself? It has been almost 20 years since I separated from the shark girl Bai Ling. I don't know what happened to the shark girl in the past 20 years. Her cultivation base must have recovered. There are things in the mermaid land, and she should be able to completely restore the cultivation base in a few months or a year. That family land had been waiting for her for tens of thousands of years. Maybe, her cultivation base can go a step further. Just those sunflower drops are terrible. Li Su also has half of these sunflower drops. In these years, after Li Su married Lu Xinyue, she also let Lu Xinyue identify a lot of spiritual fruits in the sea. It also shocked Lu Xinyue too much. He also found some pill recipes in Dangshizong and refined some special medicine pills. These, Gutu, helped the two sisters grow up quickly. It is not particularly difficult for them to transform into gods. In the conch, the sound is still coming out. It is not known where Ghost blew the conch. Li Su also picked up the conch and blew it. With this blow, a miraculous thing happened. Inside the conch, Li Su sensed Bai Zhang's consciousness. Ghost? Su, I want to see you. Bai Ling wanted to see him. Li Su thought for a while, and his consciousness communicated with her again. Where is it? The location, let's go. Do you know Linhai City? Let's meet near Linhai City. Li Su said. After finishing speaking, Li Su asked again. Has your strength recovered yet? There are many cultivators there. Okay. Then that city, I'm already nearby, Bai Ling said. She is here Linhai City. Li Su came here for the second time. He did not enter the city, but flew to the east of Linhai City. After flying thousands of miles away, Li Su looked down and saw a beautiful island with a lake in the middle of the sea in the distance. There are basically no cultivators in this area. Li Su Fei fell towards the small island. Bai Ling. His divine sense swept across the entire island, and he saw that Bai Ling appeared in the middle of the lake. At this time, she seemed to be a lotus emerging from water. Then Bai Ling walked ashore. That's right, she used to walk. Li Su glanced at her eye-catching long legs. Bai Ling can actually transform into legs? That's right, it might be difficult for ordinary mermaids, but they are all transformed into gods. The aura on her body was not obvious, it was hidden by her. But as a nascent soul complete, Li Su already felt the change in her aura. She restored the cultivation base. Although Bai Ling recovered the cultivation base, Li Su faced her without any fluctuation in his heart. With his perfect nascent soul, even if Bai Ling is hostile to him, he is sure to retreat unscathed. How are you? Li Su asked. It has been tens of thousands of years, Bai Ling's enemies must be gone. The mermaids of the North Sea have been divided into several tribes. Over the years, I want to merge these tribes. Bai Ling said. Li Su said, oh, is it going well? It's still a victory, but these tribes have a request for me to be the king. At the same time, I need to give birth to a child with excellent blood to prove my royal status. Bai Ling said. Speaking of this, she looked at Li Su with her beautiful eyes. I want you to help me, let's have a baby together. Bai Ling's words made Li Su startled. Bai Ling, want Li Su to have a baby with her? The Bai Ling in front of him was extremely beautiful, both in face and figure. The blue eyes are clearer than the water in Juzegao. Especially her long legs. Simply. Not to mention, she is still transformed into a god. Of course Li Su is happy to have a baby with her. But the problem is, can you give birth? Bai Ling is a shark. Li Su is human. The sharks belong to the sea tribe, and of course, Bai Ling is also considered to be half of the human race. But race makes some difference after all. In addition, even career. Born a mermaid, or a human. Perhaps it was a matter of the merman's expression habits, Bai Ling said it directly. All of a sudden, even Li Su was a bit of a levy. The sea clan is different from humans. Our blood is very important, and the royal blood is far more than other blood. Bai Ling spoke in detail. Following her words, I learned a lot about the sea clan. The Hai people, like the Zhao people, don't pay much attention to spiritual roots. But they have something similar to spiritual roots, which is blood. For this point, you can refer to demonic beasts. Demonic beasts are also judged by blood. Like the demonic beasts in Mangkang Mountain, the bloodline is actually quite low. The stronger the bloodline, the faster the natural cultivation, the stronger the upper limit of growth, and the stronger the same level. This kind of bloodline has similar parts to the bloodline in the sense of human family, but also has different parts. Different sharks have different bloodlines. Ordinary bloodlines naturally cannot be compared with royal bloodlines. The blood of the royal family is naturally recognized by the mermaids. Bai Ling is the merman princess, and her bloodline is the one with the strongest royal bloodline among the merman born to her parents. That's why she can be a princess. Her blood is strong, and her cultivation speed is also fast. He became a god at a young age. If it wasn't for that war, tens of thousands of years have passed. If she didn't die, she would have reached a higher realm long ago. Unfortunately, that war not only led to the withering of the sea tribe in the North Sea, but also the withering of the northern border. Think about it, the seawater at a height of 10 feet swept across the entire northern border, and after the seawater passed, the northern border was swept away. It took tens of thousands of years for the northern border to return to its current prosperity. But from Li Su's point of view, the northern territory is also seriously damaged. You know, in that ancient fairy gate, there are 100% cultivators who are above the gods. The current Bixia sect in the northern border is the strongest, but it is nothing more than Washan. Compared with Wang Shenzhou, the northern border is indeed much more prosperous. But in such a vast northern territory, there are only more than 20 nascent souls. In the ruins of the ancient Immortal Gate, there are more than 10 nascent souls left behind. You must know that in the original ancient Immortal sect, more cultivators died in the process of fighting against the Sea Clan, and did not escape back at all. In short, the current situation in the northern border is inseparable from the original war. According to what Li Su learned from the 7 great immortals, the war was not initiated by the merman race, and the merman race did not have such a great ability. In addition, as a time traveler, Li Su has a detached mentality, so he won't put himself in it, and give birth to hatred for the Sea Clan. After all, if what Yu Nu said is true, that war was also caused by humans themselves. Why don't you find other sharks? After Bai Ling finished speaking, Su asked. I don't like them. Compared with them, I would rather be with you. If I didn't think of you, I would rather not have children, and I would not accept their conditions. Bai Ling's answer was straightforward. Well, for this reason, accept it. His charm seems to be unstoppable even by a shark girl in the stage of transformation into a god. In addition, there is another important reason. Among the North Sea mermen, there are only a few mermen left with a first-level bloodline. If you have offspring with them, it will always dilute the bloodline of the royal family. Bai Ling said again. This should be the most important reason. Of course, Bai Ling recognized Li Su from the bottom of his heart, which is also very important. Otherwise, she might really not have had a baby. Although the time Li Su knew her was very short, Li Su left a good impression on her. He was also the first reliable person she met after being frozen for thousands of years to bring her out. In this case, Li Su must be special in her heart. It's like, you are frozen, and in the world 10,000 years later, after unblocking, a beautiful and attractive woman will give you careful help. When the whole world is full of strangers, will you subconsciously have a good impression of her, and even put a little emotion on her? Li Su was puzzled. I am a human being, you and I. Wouldn't it impure the blood of future generations? Bai Ling shook his head. The mermaid's blood contains human blood, and I have a secret method to have a child with you, which can actually guarantee the purity of the blood. Human blood components. Li Su thought of Bai Ling's original form, half human, half fish. Then, he thought of the snake man, half human, half snake. So, do snake people also have human blood components? Sudden. An idea came to Li Su's mind. How did the first mermen and snake people appear? Is there Shu Xian in this world? Li Su thought. Leaving aside the mermaids, the birth of the first snake man is most likely due to someone being misbehaving. Sure enough, Shu Xian can be found everywhere. Shu Xian is better, the original mermaid, beast. Li Su couldn't help thinking. Looking at Bai Ling in front of him, the mermaid Li Su can still accept it. After all, the other party is completely human now. This should be her showing the side of her own human blood. Such Bai Ling is now a young woman in her 20s. The appearance can be scored full marks. The strength is still the transformation of the gods. There is nothing wrong with it. Then when the baby is born, will it have legs or a fishtail? Li Su paid attention to this problem. Legs. Bai Ling said. Legs, that's fine. I will combine with you in the current form, and the offspring born will have your bloodline. Your bloodline will be dominant at the beginning, so it will be legs, which will also facilitate my use of secret methods to enhance its royal bloodline. Bai Ling explained. Li Su Ming understood. How are you sure it's a daughter? He asked again. If I want to have a daughter, I will have a daughter. In this life, I only plan to have one. Bai Ling said. Can't do it. The last sentence, Li Su, was not uttered. After all, I don't know if I can give birth or not. All doubts are gone. Only left with. How long did it start? Well, the sun is shining brightly on the white sandy beach. This small island looks extraordinarily beautiful under the sunlight. The day passed quickly. Li Su opened his eyes, and Bai Ling's beautiful face was imprinted in his eyes. This girl Bai Ling was so active at the beginning. Now I'm shy. Are there no avatars among the mermen now? Li Su asked curiously. On Bai Ling's pretty face, the blush has not subsided. Now she is a little afraid to look at Li Su. No, it is said that after the Great War, Power used Tao item to boil the sea, and the current North Sea Sea clan is very withered, and the North Sea Merman clan is even more withered to the extreme. Bai Ling said. Good guy, boil the sea with Tao. The war tens of thousands of years ago was really tragic. The Hai clan took Beihai in one pot. Human beings are not to be outdone, and have given all the seas to others. This sea boiling power is terrifyingly strong, and it doesn't know where it came from. With the size of the North Sea, it is not easy to cook the sea. Li Su felt that this boiled sea might not pose a great threat to the strong Sea clan, that is, the North Sea was too big. But, this will destroy the foundation of the North Sea Sea clan. Just like the huge waves of the Sea clan swept across the northern border, countless ordinary people in the northern border were swept away, and the foundation of the entire northern border was also destroyed. No wonder, in the current northern border, uninhabited areas occupy the vast majority, even accounting for more than 90%. It's no wonder that the Beihai Sea clan is in such a miserable situation now. The Merman clan has been divided into several tribes, and Lianhua Shendu is gone. The Snake Man last time was probably extremely fishy among the Snake Men. However, tens of thousands of years have passed, and the Sea clan may gradually regain their vitality. The northern borders have become prosperous. Through Bai Ling's words, Li Su had a very clear understanding of the past in the northern border. How about the other sea people? Li Su asked. Just in time to inquire about the situation of the Sea clan. This Sea clan, it's best not to do it again. It's not very clear, but the mermaid family is the worst, and the others are much better. The snake people have become quite powerful. The activities of other sea people have also become more frequent recently. Bai Ling said. Speaking of this, Bai Ling looked at Li Su. You have to be careful. As far as I know, some sea tribes combined with humans to give birth to descendants of human-dominant blood, and these descendants have sneaked into the northern border. Oh? Li Su frowned. Are these sea people going to make trouble again? The sacred artifact from that year was also broken, but there are still fragments in the northern border, and they probably want to get it. Bai Ling explained. The mermaids didn't participate in it. The previous mermaids didn't even turn into Shendu, and there was no royal family left. They are no longer eligible to enter the Sea clan's temple. Bai Ling said. Li Su Ming understood. The mermaids should have been severely injured in that battle. Li Su felt that the merman might have been used as cannon fodder by other sea tribes. Of course, the plight of the merman is also related to Bai Ling being trapped. Otherwise, if she is still there, the shark race will definitely not be as miserable as it is now. Talking and talking, looking at the glamorous Bai Ling, Li Su again. In this way, Li Su and Bai Ling spent the happiest month on this small island. Happy month indeed. Li Su also let go of all his worries. During the day, he and Bai Ling walked and chatted together. Listen to her talk about some things in the sea, maybe tell her some stories from another world. Su, the third prince, is actually very pitiful. He obviously didn't do anything wrong, but Neza took the pain out of him. On the beach, Bai Ling stepped on the water with bare feet, said Li Su. Neza was just a brat at that time, but many human beings only look at things from their own point of view. Bai Ling nodded approvingly. This month has passed, and she already likes Li Su very much. At first, out of a good impression of Li Su, she came to Li Su to borrow. But now, Su, it really attracted her. Not for that kind of thing. But Li Su has brought her great attraction at the soul level, and some of Li Su's views have also been recognized and appreciated by Bai Ling. This made Bai Ling's whole state even better. When looking at Li Su, both eyes are shining. That is the look when you meet someone you admire and admire. When a woman meets her own, her whole body will shine. Have you got it, ghost? As night fell, Li asked. Bai Ling shook his head. It seems not yet. Oh, let's continue. Li Su said. So, he worked hard. Soon, another 2 months passed. Not yet? Li Su's voice sounded. He is not in a hurry. Being with Bai Ling is also a special experience. Li Su has had a great time these 3 months. Anyway, it's okay for the time being. For him with a long lifespan, many things don't need to be too urgent. Bai Ling shook his head. Su, not yet. Looking at it this way, getting Bai Ling pregnant is also a problem. After thinking for a while, Li Su said, Bai Ling, cover up your breath, and I'll take you on a tour of the northern border. I have been on this small island all the time, although the scenery is beautiful, but Li Su is also ready to go out for a walk. Let Bai Ling have a different mood, maybe she will become pregnant. Bai Ling was more than happy. In her current form, she is dominated by human blood, and cannot display the strength of the transformation god level. Don't worry about being recognized by others. As for the safety issue, with Li Su around, why not be afraid? So, Li Su took Bai Ling and traveled to the north. The first stop is Linhai City. This city is indeed huge. Hey, Li Senior, someone recognized Li Su. As for Bai Ling, she has a veil on her face, although no one knows her. But Bai Ling still covered his own face. Is Senior Li here? Soon, heaps of cultivators came around. Li Su is now in the north, but everyone knows about it. It can be said that everyone knows Li Su's name except those who have been in closed-door training for many years, or those whose news is too closed. On the bright side, Li Su has the strength of nascent soul 8 layers. Strength is one aspect. There are some nascent souls in the northern border who are very low-key, and a large number of cultivators don't even know their names. Li Su's fame naturally stems from his taking concubines. Waves of concubines. In the end, they actually gave the most eye-catching twin sisters in the north. This also made countless cultivators in the northern border envious. I didn't expect Senior Li to visit Linhai. My master is still in closed-door training, so I can't come to entertain the senior. If the senior needs anything, feel free to tell me. The apprentice of Linhai City's city lord also came. In the end, Li Su didn't stay in Linhai City for too long. Then, he also made some disguises. This time the main purpose was for fun. It's not good to be surrounded by people wherever he goes. Bai Ling. Do you have it? In a blink of an eye, 3 months passed, and Li Su asked on the top of a beautiful mountain. Bai Ling shook his head. Not yet. Then continue. Li Su buried her head again. A few days later, Li Su left here with Bai Ling, and continued to play. The northern territory is extremely vast and beautiful. Although there are a lot of uninhabited areas, it is because of the uninhabited areas that the natural scenery is extremely magnificent. After entering the 7th month, Li Su brought Bai Ling into a secular country. Li Su also hid the cultivation base, and experienced the life of mortals in this world with Bai Ling. A mortal's life is too short in the eyes of a cultivator. Especially in the eyes of a mighty cultivator. It's really like a white horse passing by. When a powerful cultivator does closed-door training once, the lives of countless mortals have passed like that. Bai Ling is also very curious about the human world. This is an experience she has never had. Su, what are they doing? Why is the room so red? On this day, Bai Ling saw a team welcoming the bride. A couple got married. The welcoming team beat gongs and drums, which was very lively. Marry. Li Su said. Marry? Bai Ling showed a curious look. The high people don't know whether to hold a wedding or not. On this day, Bai Ling also watched the whole wedding. Su, the bride's beauty is not outstanding. Why do I feel she is very beautiful today? After night fell, Bai Ling said. Li Su hugged her. Every happy event, the whole body will shine. Bai Ling, tonight, you are also my bride. Bai Ling blushed. This shark girl, even though she is in the stage of becoming a god, has shown the most beautiful posture of a daughter in front of Li Su these few months. It's getting cuter too. Bai Ling, do you have it? 10 months passed. Bai Ling's stomach still didn't move. It's been 10 months of hard work. Like some mortals, they may not be able to conceive a baby for several years, or even be infertile, but that is a problem with the mortal body. Bai Ling is a metamorphosis, and her physical condition cannot be better. What could be wrong with her body? Bai Ling shook his head. No, she looked at Li Su. The stronger the bloodline, the harder it is to give birth to offspring. It is very difficult for royal bloodlines to have offspring. It may take some time. The stronger the bloodline, the harder it is to give birth to offspring? To some extent, it is the same as the stronger the immortal cultivator, the harder it is to give birth to offspring. Don't look at Lu Xinshui. After sister Lu Xinyue married Li Su, she lived a cracking life. But this is the reason why Li Su focuses on cultivation. Like Ning Xiaoyu and Su Yun, at the beginning, they took the initiative once. But Lu Xinyue and the others took several months to conceive. This is nascent soul, which is pretty good. It will become more and more difficult when you reach the level of God transformation. Of course, if the cultivation base is high, it doesn't matter if the number of offspring is small. You can ask for quality, as for quantity. Li Su has so many concubines, seeing that 10 months have passed. Bai Ling has no baby yet, and Ji Li is not in a hurry. He took Bai Ling and continued to swim to the north. Traveling in the world of mortals, you can also see the customs of the northern border, and even sharpen your mind and so on. Of course, Chen Li doesn't need to worry about his character. Because the rewards of the system have been constantly increasing. For example, among the rewards exchanged for experience, there is an additional cultivation base of cultivation. This can make the own mind stronger. And according to Li Su's understanding from the exchange and communication with other leaders in the Northern Territory over the years, if he can grow to the transcend tribulation stage. Whether you can successfully survive the 5 declines of Diva, the character of mind is very important. Cultivating the mind cannot directly bring Liwang. However, to a certain extent, the heart is the root of a person's strength. When the heart is strong, the talent will be strong. Of course, roots are roots, but not everything. For a mortal, no matter how strong your heart is, you can only live for a mere few decades. Xin Xing is also very beneficial for resisting heart's demon and the like. Perhaps it was Li Su's reward for passing the system. Every step was too steady and steadfast. Up to now, Li Su has never encountered heart's demon. This is a good thing. When the leader encountered heart's demon, if Li Su hadn't happened to cross over to her side and accidentally helped her, she would have been useless. Human weaknesses, spiritual defects, past experiences, unstable foundations, etc., may all lead to the breeding of heart's demon. In the past, the leader was almost transferred to spiritual roots by an evil woman. There was a problem with his foundation. Maybe he was too anxious when practicing, and his mentality was also affected, which gave birth to heart's demon. Su, the story you told makes me feel that Cowherd is a hooligan. In a secular city in the north, Li Su and Bai Ling walked side by side. While walking, Li Su told her stories from another world. Isn't it a hooligan? The fairy was taking a bath. He went and stole his clothes and even looked at them. How can you get married when all women are seen? The cowherd also threatened the weaver girl with clothes to marry him. After marrying him, the cowherd did not do any work, and let the weaver girl keep weaving and raising. Li Su spoke slowly. Bai Ling nodded in approval. At this time, a stream of light flashed across the sky. Fairy. The secular people in this small city became excited one after another, and some older people even bowed down. Immortals are different, and they also exist in the northern border. Although there are more immortal cultivators in the northern region, given the size of the northern region, many people have only seen such immortals from a distance in their lifetimes only a few times. Li Su's divine sense is a passing foundation establishment late-stage cultivator. For mortals, it is indeed a fairy. Su, I have it. Another 2 months have passed, and it has been a full year. On this day, Bai Ling gave Li Su good news. Li Su was quite happy when he got the news. After all, a year of hard work has finally paid off. After being happy, Li Su thought again that Bai Ling had to leave now, and felt a little bit reluctant. It is definitely unrealistic to keep her by my side. Bai Ling will not stay in Li's residence either. After all, her purpose of giving birth to this baby is to prove the blood of the own royal family, reintegrate several merman tribes, and become the king of merman. Such a Bai Ling, Li Su can't restrain her. He also doesn't want to be bound. Li Su has different attitudes towards different women. Amazingly talented, Li Su is naturally willing that they will fly higher and higher, so that they can follow in his footsteps in the future, and climb to the top of the world with him and sit in the prosperity of the whole world. He doesn't hope that one day, when he stands at the top of the world and is invincible in the world, there is no one around him. And because of their aptitude and spiritual roots, no matter how hard they try, they will not be able to cultivate quickly, and those who are willing to take shelter of Li Su will also become a towering tree, giving them the best protection. Let me hear. Li Su put his ear on Bai Ling's stomach. Of course I can't hear it now, but he already felt it. Bai Ling finally has a baby. Both of them agreed tacitly and didn't mention Bai Ling's departure. That night, Li Su hugged Bai Ling lightly and did nothing. Su, I'm leaving tomorrow. If you miss me, blow to the conch. Bai Ling's voice sounded. I'll take you to Beihai. Li Su said. The night was dark. The next day, the two set sail again. Bai Ling stood on the bow of the flying boat, watching the earth pass by below, not knowing what he was thinking. This year, when the two were together, they talked a lot. However, this time, until Beihai, neither of them spoke much. Bai Ling hugged Li Su lightly. It took a full half an hour. She hid the reluctance in her eyes and slowly backed away. Now she still has a lot to do. She wants to regain the glory of the merman clan and become the king of the mermen. As she retreated, her whole person's feeling also changed. This year, in front of Li Su, she is not at all like a powerful mermaid princess in the transformation stage, but an innocent little girl. But now, that powerful merman princess is coming back bit by bit. Su, Feng. She took a deep look at Li Su, then turned around and plunged into the seawater. Disappear. Li Su watched her disappear. After standing there for about an hour, he packed up his mood and started to return. This time, he came out for a whole year. This year, the season has been exceptionally exciting. Although the lifespan of a cultivator is long, the time spent on life is actually not much. Like Lu Xinyue and the others, they are more than 1,500 years old, but she has been practicing for more than 1,400 years. Cultivation is what a cultivator should do most. A long life needs to be matched with strong strength and heart to be perfect. Otherwise, let a mortal live forever without giving him the strength and character of a cultivator, and this mortal may feel that everything is meaningless in the end. Before time travel, in the concept of Westerners, isn't eternal life just painful? That's because it's just living forever in a corner. The heart is the heart of an ordinary person. What I think about all day is still the trivial things of ordinary people. He also doesn't have the corresponding strong strength and character, and he can experience a little bit of war and death between countries, which can make him miserable. The pattern is too small. Therefore, the difference between immortals and mortals is very scientific to a certain extent. Immortal cultivators have the structure and time scale of immortal cultivators, so don't get involved in mortal grievances. It's not that mortal grievances are not wonderful, but you, a cultivator, don't practice hard, and you are there all day long with a group of mortals who can only live for a few decades at most. Really interesting, of course. Li Su is an exception, because he doesn't have to practice by himself. But Li Su's mentality is also very detached. He can be born, or enter the world. Therefore, seeing Bai Ling leave, even though he would feel some reluctance in his heart, Li Su still smiled freely. When my daughter is born next year, come to Beihai to have a look. I don't know how outstanding he and Bai Ling's daughter will be. In other words, what will this girl bring back to own? All this can only be known after birth. In this way, Li Su came all the way to Shuiyumen. A few little lawless rushed forward. These are Li Su's daughters. The first daughter of Li Su and Lu Xinyue is Li Tong, whose nickname is Tong Tong. She is a third-rank spiritual roots just like Meng Meng, and she is 16 years old this year. 16-year-old Tong Tong is about to start foundation establishment. As for Meng Meng, in her 30s this year, she still looks like a 15 or 16 years old girl, and she still likes to act like a baby in front of Li Su. Her strength has improved by leaps and bounds, and she has already reached the 6th floor of foundation establishment. If this continues, Mengmeng will not have the slightest problem with the gold core before the age of 100, and it can even be faster. Because her resources are so good, even if it is a waste to use sunflower water beads now, Lu Xinshui is still using sunflower water beads to help her. The medicine pill that Li Su refined from the spiritual fruits obtained from the mermaid land was also very useful to her. Medicine pills are divided into many types, and some types of medicine pills are naturally not to be used too much. But some are purely qi gathering and yuan building. As long as they are completely digested after eating, there will be no problem. Just like the power Yue cheated from Heavenly Devil, digesting it and turning it into her own is the key. Husband, Lu Xinshui and Lu Xinyue also came. Today, they are actually exactly the same. Husband, guess who I am? The one on the right blinked. Li Su turned around her, Xinyue. Hey, how do you know? You have to ask your daughter. Xiaoying, you know how to help your father. Lu Xinyue has nothing to do with her older daughter. Why is she always facing her father? Xin Shui, how about this treasure, is it easy to use? Li Su asked. That's right, he also refined a low-grade treasure for Lu Xinshui, named Shuiyan Mirror, which is a defensive magic treasures. As a low-grade treasure, it can already greatly mobilize the power of heaven and earth to defend. As for attacking magic treasures, Li Su is still in the process of refining. He is going to make a magic treasures for Lu Xinshui, like the long white gauze in TV dramas. It can be long or short, it can be used to control water, it can be attacked or attacked. The water is soft, and Lu Xinshui's magic treasures don't necessarily need to be sharp. The cultivation technique of the water system itself combines hardness and softness, that is, when it is soft, it can block mountains, and when it is hard, it can wear gold and iron. Thank you. Lu Xinshui was extremely grateful. After following Li Su, she realized just how powerful Li Su is. Not only all kinds of treasures are taken out casually, it is also able to refine a very powerful medicine pill. Not only are there those that are beneficial to cultivation, but also those that enhance the soul. Even Lu Xinshui prepared the medicine pill, which can be used to increase the success rate when she attacks the god transformation, and Ji Su prepared it for her. Now, a low-grade treasure was refined for her. Treasures, even in the north, no one can refine them. That's what Washan can have, and it's extremely precious. With Lu Xinshui's current strength, the power of low-grade treasures will also be very powerful. As for Lu Xinyue, it is too wasteful for her to use treasures now, so Li Su hasn't upgraded her weapons yet. Under the touch. This night, Lu Xinshui was also obedient to Ji Su. Even. Li Su spent a month at Shuiyumen and was about to return to Li's mansion on this day. A ray of light rushed into the Shuiyui gate from a distance. With this speed, it can only be a communication stone. Lu Xinshui read the content in the communication stone, her expression changed. What's wrong, Xinshui? Li Su asked. Husband, it's not good. A Washan suddenly appeared and is attacking the Bixia sect. Bihai Senior, the head of the Bixia sect, is not here. The Guardian formation will not last long. Lu Xinshui wrote. Transforming God to attack Bixia sect? Where did the transformation god come from? Li Su asked. It seems to belong to the Sea clan. The formation of the Bixia sect can last up to 5 days. It will take at least half a month for the Bihai Senior to come back. Therefore, the Bixia sect asks for help from the entire northern border. Jin Senior uses a piece of magic treasures, which can barely block the Sea clan's transformation gods. As long as we all enter the big formation, and all nascent souls are injected with spirit power, they can make the big formation of Fei Chongzong last longer. Lu Xinshui told all the information in the message stone. Sea clan transformation god. Could it be her? Li Su thought of Bai Ling. Immediately, he directly denied this possibility. It couldn't be ghost. That should be what Bai Ling said, other sea people. Tens of thousands of years ago, the fragments of the sacred artifact that caused the Sea clan to attack the northern border were still in the northern border. From this point of view, could it be that the fragment of the holy artifact is in the Bixia layer? Therefore, after the Sea clan found out about the situation of the Bixia sect, and knew that Bai Luo's father was not there, they suddenly launched an attack. Bixiazong is the only third-rank fairy sect in the northern region, and the Guardian Array is also very powerful, which can actually block it for a few days. Unfortunately, it won't last long. Such a large formation, even if it is powerful, but the energy to maintain the large formation is not endless after all. Facing the attack of a deity, blocking it for 5 days. I am afraid that the spirit stones of Bixiazong will be consumed. Therefore, Bixiazong thought of a way to ask all the nascent souls in the northern border to rescue them, and everyone enters the big formation together, and maintains the big formation with spirit power. There are more than 20 nascent souls, and there are still a few late stages and peaks in them. The time they can last is naturally longer. Did the Bixia sect send a message to all the fairy gates in the northern border? Li Su asked. Yes, Jin Sr. asked all the nascent souls to gather at the Lion Mountain outside the Bixia sect, and promised that we will definitely have good rewards when the time comes. Lu Xinshui rode. Okay, let's go, Li Su said. He was going to check the situation. Boom. At this time, the Bixia sect was trembling non-stop. As a third-rank immortal sect, Bixia sect's protective array is naturally powerful, and it was arranged by a formation master that Bai Luo's father found from outside. Such a large formation, it is not easy for Washan to break through. However, there are too many sea clans attacking outside now. Not only that, but from inside the formation, the outside has become an ocean. The entire Bixia sect area was submerged by water. This is not because the Sea Clan has set off huge waves again, but that the Sea Clan has formed formations in this area and created a lot of water, so that their attacks in the water will be even more terrifying. At the same time, it can also use the power of heaven and earth. Inside the Bixia sect, it was busy. Tens of thousands of Qi refining and foundation establishment disciples were frantically throwing spirit stones into the formation. The Sea Clan not only dispatched a transformation god, but also dispatched a lot of nascent souls, constantly bombarding the entire formation. These guys sneaked into the northern border quietly, and then launched an attack suddenly. Being able to touch here so accurately, there might already be someone from them in the Bixia sect. Bai Luo, can't the master be faster? Their attacks are getting more and more fierce. If this continues, they won't be able to last for 5 days. In the big formation, the Jin surname cultivator at the peak of nascent soul was also a little anxious. Father is already rushing back as fast as possible, but the journey is too far away. Father is the fastest, and it will take half a month. Bai Luo's voice sounded. The current plan, regardless of consumption, is to wait until the nascent soul from the northern border arrives, and then I will use the Bixia mirror to block the High Clan's transformation gods and let them in. I hope I can last until they all arrive. The cultivator surnamed Jin frowned as he watched the constantly shaking formation. The gap between nascent soul and Washan is too great. Although he is the peak of nascent soul, even if he uses powerful magic treasures, he can't compete with Washan. With the help of the Bixia mirror, it is possible to temporarily block the Sea Clan's transformation god. Many powerful defensive magic treasures come in the form of mirrors. Because the treasure mirror is relatively comprehensive and quite light, it is very convenient to drive. There are also shields. This kind of magic treasures has high requirements on the material, otherwise it is easy to be broken. The advantage of using a shield is that it consumes less than using a mirror, and it is very powerful in defending against burst attacks targeting a certain point. But it is not as fast as Baojing, and its defense is not particularly comprehensive, and it is not as changeable as Baojing. At some point, half a beat slower, may be the distance between life and death. The cultivator surnamed Jin can only hope that nascent soul in the north will come to the rescue. More than a dozen nascent souls, as long as they can come in and maintain the formation with all their strength, they can still hold on. The big formation is still shaking. Outside, the Sea Clan transformation god was already personally attacking the formation. Bai Luo's father was elusive, but spent most of his life in the north. It was only a few years before Li Su set foot in the north that he traveled far. Unexpectedly, the High Clan found out the details and brazenly launched a sneak attack. Friend Li Dao, head of Shuehui, Xinyue fellow Taoist. On the high mountain, several flying boats gathered, and the two immortal sects that were a little closer to the Bixia sect rushed over. Li Su saw that these were people from the Spirit Beast sect and the Fenglei sect, a total of 3 people. But Spirit Beast Zong did not bring Spirit Beast this time. At the Xianmen ruins, Li Su also saw that they were carrying a 4th-order Spirit Beast comparable to Nascent Soul. This time, they should put the Spirit Beast in Zhongli for defense. After all, Although the Sea Clan is attacking the Bixia sect, what if they suddenly attack other immortal sects? At this time, all the fairy gates have probably opened the big formation and completely hidden them. Ha! You guys are so fast. At this time, another flying boat arrived. This is the head of the Falling Cloud sect, and he also brought a nascent soul. Immediately afterwards, Dang Shizong and Nascent Soul who opened the ultimate gate also came. These nascent souls all came quite quickly. That is to say, the people from Feishenzong have not come yet. The distance of Feishenzong is even further. Of course, Li Su can also be regarded as a member of Feishenzong. In fact, he has already sent a summons to the head, asking the head to specialize in cultivation, and here the matters are handed over to him. However, the boss has not responded yet. I didn't expect Shueiyui's sect leader to reach the late stage. The nascent souls also noticed the changes in Lu Xinshui's cultivation base and were a little envious. From the nascent soul middle stage to the late stage, the strength has changed quite a lot. Friend Li Dao, will the Flying Immortal sect come again? A nascent soul path of the Purple Gate. Li Su was about to speak when he saw, in the distance, a flying boat with a smooth shape flying over at an extremely fast speed. This flying boat Li Su has never seen before, and its speed is also very fast, even faster than the flying boat refined by Li Su. This is mainly because Li Su didn't spend much time on the flying boat. Looking at it this way, it is very necessary to refine an extremely fast flying boat in the future, and the time spent on the road will not be so long. When it flew close, Li Su saw that the flying boat was the sect leader and her aunt. They also came. In other words, the flying boat should have been brought by the head aunt, otherwise it would not have such a fast speed. Master. Li Su Ying went up. The headmaster nodded slightly when he saw Li Su. Li Su greeted her aunt again. Fang is an elder, and he is very kind to the head of the sect. In the future, if the head of the sect gives birth to a baby for himself, she will also be her own aunt. Basic etiquette must be done. Fei Shenzong is really talented. Li Daoyu has grown up so fast, I didn't expect Shangguan to reach the middle stage so soon. A nascent soul sensed the change in the master's aura, said. The aura revealed by the head is the fourth floor of nascent soul. But more than 50 years ago, the master was still on the first floor of nascent soul. Compared with other nascent souls, this growth rate is actually astonishingly fast. Master must have hidden the cultivation base. Li Su thought. The last time we met, when the head repaired the foundation, he had already reached the fourth floor of nascent soul. Almost 20 years have passed, and the foundation of the master has been repaired. It is impossible to remain at the fourth floor of nascent soul, and it is likely to be at the fifth floor, or even Makang and Shikong. What about the spiritual roots? Rumor has it that in ancient times, there were immortal spiritual roots who could achieve nascent soul before they were 100 years old. Centenary nascent soul. How terrible. After all, this is the rare spiritual roots. The master also has a large number of medicine pills that Li Su refined for her to help her. The cultivation speed of immortal spiritual roots is very fast. As for the current nascent soul in the north, Li Su feels that its appearance is average. There seems to be no third rank. The reason for this is that after learning about the past in the Northern Territory from the shark girl Bai Ling, Li Su guessed that it is possible that those with excellent spiritual roots would leave the Northern Territory after growing to a certain level. After all, the Northern Territory was severely damaged by that war, and so far it is only a third-rank fairy gate. Not to mention sacred land and the like, there is not even a second-rank fairy gate. Otherwise, why are the nascent soul spiritual roots in the northern border relatively common? Everyone is here. At present, Li Dao is the strongest here. Li Dao, you are the main supporter this time. Yes, friend Li Dao, how do you say to fight? The big formation of the Bixia sect has been completely blocked. We currently have no way to send messages to communicate with them, but once we kill them, they will follow. The heads of the immortal sect spoke one after another. This time, they were clearly planning to live off of G. More than 10 years ago, Li Su showed the 8th layer cultivation base of nascent soul, and he seemed to be the strongest player present. In addition, the head of the Purple Gate is on the 7th floor of nascent soul. There are several nascent soul middle stages, and the others are all in the nascent soul early stage. Li Su looked in the direction of Bixiazong, which is still tens of miles away from Bixiazong. The reason why they are so far away is because of the powerful divine sense of Washan, avoiding being perceived by the other party. The gods of the Sea Clan are very different from the gods of humans. Divine sense may not be as strong as the gods of humans, but it has to be guarded against. Li Su said, "Kill directly, you deal with the nascent soul of the Sea Clan, and give it to me." Li Su's words made all the nascent souls present look at him. Li Su looked as usual. They don't have as many nascent souls as we do, so we can just beat them back. This sentence, "Let the nascent souls look at you one by one, and I look at you," it seems that they all suspect that they have heard it wrong. "Friend Li Dao, are you going to deal with the High Clan's Washan?" The head of the ZG sect couldn't help asking. Li Su said, "Not bad. Friend Li Dao, although the strength of the Sea Clan is somewhat different from ours, their combat power of transforming gods is also extremely powerful." Halfway through the ZG sect's head, his eyes widened. "Friend Li Dao, your cultivation base, when did it rise again?" Because at this moment, Li Su's aura is fully open, and in the feeling of the head of the ZG sect, he is much stronger than 10 years ago. This aura is even stronger than that of a cultivator with the surname Jin. The other nascent souls couldn't help showing their colors one by one. "Don't worry, I'm enough to stop him. As long as you beat away the other Sea Clan nascent soul, Jin Sr. will lead someone to kill him, and he will have to retreat." Li Su said in a deep voice. He is very close to Washan now, only 2 descendants of spiritual roots. These 2 offspring of spiritual roots can make the total number of offspring of Li Su's spiritual roots reach 500, so that the reward can directly lead him to Washan. Even if Li Su didn't take a concubine this year, he still stayed with Bai Ling and didn't work hard. But the descendants of Li Su's descendants, the descendants of spiritual roots, have also increased. 2 offspring of spiritual roots, if you are lucky, maybe every few days will be enough, and if it is slower, it will only take a few months. Although he is not yet Washan, Li Su is perfect with nascent soul, which is enough to fight against Washan. Even if there is a huge gap between nascent soul and Washan, as long as this Washan is in the early stage, Li Su is confident enough to be undefeated by the opponent. It is very likely that this Sea Clan's deity is an early stage. If it is a middle stage, Bixiazong's big formation can't last so long. More than 20 nascent soul teamed up, and it was impossible to last more than 10 days. Since this is the case, we believe in Li Dao, and fight for it. The head of the Loyan sect spoke. "It is good." Immediately, other nascent souls also seconded. "Haha. Use nascent soul to fight against Washan. If Li Dao wins this battle, you will be famous all over the world." The head of Dangshizong laughed. "His growth is so fast, I don't know if breakthrough Washan will have a bottleneck. No matter how talented a person is, if he is stuck in the bottleneck, he may be stuck for hundreds of years." The ant in charge was quietly observing Li Su again. After being in the Li Su Foundation establishment, the head has been shown by Li Su many times in the past 100 years, and it seems that he has gotten used to it. However, there is still surprise in the eyes. Li Su's growth is indeed fast. Several flying boats rushed into the sky and rushed towards Bixiazong at full speed. Among these flying boats, Li Su's flying boat is at the forefront. Lots of water. After rushing towards the Bixia sect, a nascent soul saw that the area around the Bixia sect was covered by water for thousands of miles. This is the big formation of the Sea Clan. It has created a home field that is beneficial to them. If we can't break through the formation and rush in, the fighting power inside will be suppressed to a certain extent. Loyan sect leader, can you break it? Many nascent souls looked at Loyan sect leader. Loyan sect leader. It's definitely not a problem to have Li Dao friends in this big formation. The problem is that it will be troublesome if the formation is broken. There is too much water. Once it spreads, the surrounding secular countries will suffer. Thousands of miles of water, 10,000 feet deep. How did they get so much water? It must be some kind of treasure, such as water spirit beads, which can store a large amount of water. So much water, it's really difficult to deal with. The nascent souls became worried one by one. It is indeed difficult for the Sea Clan to create such a large formation. Even if this array can be broken, there is still a very big problem. There is water for thousands of miles, and the water is as deep as 3 Mariana Trenches. The volume of these waters can be calculated intuitively. This is a 1,000 kilometers diameter. The circle inside has a surface area of 785,000 square kilometers. The depth is 33 kilometers. It is equivalent to the fact that several provinces were submerged in 33 kilometers of water before Li Su was crossed. The volume of these waters is 25.905 million cubic kilometers. 1 cubic kilometer equals 1 billion cubic meters, so that's over 2 billion cubic meters of water. Before Li Su crossed the Yangtze River, a total of 960 billion cubic meters of water flowed into the sea a year. The water here is equivalent to the amount of water that the Yangtze River has flowed non-stop for more than 2 trillion years. Once the formation is broken, the water will rush in all directions, and the surrounding secular countries will be finished. Most importantly, once the formation is broken, the nascent souls have no time to deal with the water. Otherwise, there is no need to worry about so many nascent souls. The water here is about the same as the water in the ancient Xianmen ruins, but the water in the ancient Xianmen ruins was cut by restrictions and can be solved separately. But how could the people of the Sea Clan allow the nascent souls to deal with the water? Otherwise, it wouldn't be so difficult. Once the nascent souls have no time to manage the water during the battle, the casualties will be terrible. Perhaps hundreds of millions or even billions of people in the surrounding secular countries will die. Even if immortals are different, ordinary mortals are as weak as ants in front of nascent soul, and the nascent soul present couldn't bear to bring such a heavy death or injury. Friend Li Dao, what can you do? The head of the ZG sect couldn't help looking at Li Su. This large formation of the High Clan made him feel extremely tricky. Not only him, but other people's eyes also fell on Li Su. These sea people, this time the preparations are not generally sufficient. Li Su's eyes fell on the huge formation, and after looking at it for a few tens of seconds, he said, "Leave it to me." After speaking, Li Su looked at Lu Xinshui. "Heartwater, how much water can a sunflower drop absorb at most?" Li Su asked. "Husband, the sunflower water drops can absorb up to 10 Shuihui lake water." Lu Xinshui wrote, "Moon Lake. This is a lake next to Shuihui Gate, which is very large." Li Su has an idea. "Everyone, wait for me, Loyan sect leader. Please go to the other side. This is the method of setting up the array flags. Within 5 hours, Tubi will set up a meeting." Li Su handed Loyan sect leader a large number of array flags, as well as the directions and methods of array flag arrangement. Loyan sect leader's eyes lit up. "Okay, leave it to me." Li Su rushed around and fell down because of the emperor. He wants to set up, surrounding this large formation of the Sea Clan. The array deployed this time is somewhat similar to Wang Sumeru's array. In other words, it is the main space. For example, a tent looks like a tent from the outside, but after getting in, the space inside is bigger than a football field. Similar to this principle, also like a storage bag. However, Li Su is implemented in the form of formation. He carries a lot of formation flags, some of which are special and some are general. What Li Su is laying down now is the general banner. His speed is very fast. Such a Sumeru formation does not need too many, just one in one direction. But he also deployed some special diversion arrays and blocking restrictions. Friend Li Dao, it's done. After more than 4 hours, everything was ready. Time is running out. Bixia sect has been on the top for almost 5 days, and if it drags on, it may not be able to withstand it. Xin Shui, Xin Yu, you deal with the water outside. These sunflower drops are for you, mainly to deal with the overflowing water. Li Su made more than a dozen sunflower water drops for the two sisters. These sunflower beads can also be used to absorb water. The two sisters nodded heavily. Rise. With Li Su's hands pinching, the surrounding Sumeru formations were activated one after another. Wait for me to break through. Immediately afterwards, Li Su rushed out, cast a large number of spells with both hands, and hit the Sea Clan formation. They saw that with Li Su's movements, a huge hole was broken in the formation, and the seawater rushed out frantically. As soon as the water rushed out, it was guided by the water diversion formation set up by Li Su to rush towards the Sumeru formation. Li Su continued to play magic tricks, making the hole bigger and bigger, and soon it was tens of miles wide. The water inside rushed out like a landslide. All of this water was introduced into the Sumeru array. Let's go in together. Li Su shouted loudly and rushed in first. The movement here has already attracted the attention of the High Clan who are entering the Bixia sect's formation. Court death. Although the upper body was human, a Sea Clan man with a lot of scales flicked his tail and rushed towards Li Su. But this guy comes fast and kneels even faster. Boom. During the violent collision, this guy flew upside down, hit the big formation of Bixia formation heavily, and spat out a mouthful of blood. Ku Jaw, how are you doing? That human is so strong, don't go there. The man of the Sea Clan who was covered in scales vomited blood and said loudly. His words are already late. Boom. Another unlucky guy who had rushed towards Li Su before, but didn't stop the car flew backwards and crashed into the big formation of Bixiazong. It knocked Bixiazong's big formation into a quiver. This big formation is almost unbearable. Bixia Zongkang Curry's spirit stones have almost been used up. Even the spirit stones in tens of thousands of disciple storage bags, including the spirit stones in all gold core cultivator storage bags, have been used up. Several nascent souls have also taken out some spirit stones, and are already using their own spirit power to support the entire formation. As a third-rank fairy sect, Bixia sect has a very large number of disciples. In the entire Bixia sect, there are tens of thousands of chi refining disciples, thousands of foundation establishment disciples, more than 50 gold cores, and 6 nascent souls. No, it's 7 nascent souls now, because Bai Luo has also quietly arrived at nascent soul. It is precisely because the Bixia sect is so powerful that it can still live after the spirit stones are almost consumed. Because except for the cultivator surnamed Jin and a nascent soul late-stage cultivator, everyone else, including Bai Luo, is supporting the entire formation with spirit power. Although the chi refining period is not worth mentioning in front of nascent soul, it is still very powerful to input spirit power for tens of thousands of chi refining periods together. It's just that the Sea Clan's transformation gods are too fierce, and with many powerful Sea Clan nascent souls, they can't last long at all. A large number of disciples in the chi refining period are exhausted. Including Bai Luo, her face was a little pale. The tremors of the great array also spread to her body, and she was also affected. Especially the 2 blows from the 2 Sea Clans flying back just now, the consumption of the large formation was not ordinary. What are they doing? A suicide attack? Not far away, a nascent soul of Luzong said puzzledly. The collision of the 2 sea tribes was more powerful than their full attack power. The bodies of the sea people are powerful, some are similar to body cultivators, but some sea people have abilities similar to spells. These guys didn't die when they bumped into these 2, but they all seriously injured themselves. This nascent soul was a little puzzled. Bai Luo didn't see Li Su behind him, so she was also a little puzzled. As soon as Bixiazong's nascent soul finished speaking, Bixiazong's protective formation was hit hard again. Another nascent soul of the Sea Clan slammed into the protective formation. PFF'd. A nascent soul of the Bixia sect was knocked back for a bit because it input spirit power with all its strength and was connected to the energy of the protecting sect formation, and then spit out a mouthful of blood. Fortunately, it's just that the chi and blood are not smooth, and there is no serious problem. But nascent soul of the Sea Clan was miserable, even the old man came out. What happened? In the Bixia sect, many disciples were full of question marks. The power of these 3 strikes is obviously more than the previous attacks of these 3 guys. But if it is said that they launch an attack in this way, how can there be such an attack? This is 800 kills and 2000 self-damage. These 3 guys were seriously injured at first glance. It must be our helping hand, a nascent soul said in a deep voice. The other nascent souls also responded one after another. Yes, it is definitely the help from the northern border that has arrived. However, this helping hand may not be too strong. 3 Sea Clans were hit in the air one after another. In the middle, in the hands of the cultivator surnamed Jin, a mirror glowing with sunlight appeared. This is the Bixia mirror, a defensive magic treasures at the level of low-grade treasures. The true energy left by the head of the Bixia sect is stored in it, so after the cultivator surnamed Jin drives the mirror, it can block the Sea Clan's transformation of the gods for a while. But it couldn't hold back for too long. Apparently, the cultivator surnamed Jin is ready to go out to meet the help of the northern border. This person is so strong, Inkscale Sr. At this time, after the nascent soul of the Sea Clan was beaten 3 times by Li Su, the other nascent souls of the Sea Clan were shocked and shouted. Because Li Su had already charged over aggressively, his aura was unstoppable. Whoever dares to block the front will follow in the footsteps of the 3 Sea Clan nascent souls. The first 3 nascent souls of the Sea Clan are not weak, and the first one has even reached the late stage. He still vomited blood from Li Su's blow, and his injuries were not small. The latter 2 are both middle stage and suffered more serious injuries. This time, the Sea Clan dispatched not only 1 transformation god, but also more than a dozen nascent soul-level Sea Clan members. He was so aggressive that he also set up this large formation to make nascent soul in the northern border scruples. The purpose is to take Bixiazong as soon as possible. But Li Su is so ferocious. 2 nascent souls of the Sea Clan were killed by Li Su one after another, and the other nascent souls of the Sea Clan would dare to attack again. Li Su had already rushed over, so he naturally wouldn't fight these Sea Clan nascent souls in close combat. While rushing forward, the flying immortal sword had already been deployed. There is a sunflower drop in his mouth, which can prevent Li Su from being too suppressed in the seawater. This sunflower water droplet, Li Su plans to ask Bai Ling when he goes to Beihai after Bai Ling has a baby. See if you can spend some time and energy, use it as a raw material, and refine it into water spirit beads and other diseases. As for other nascent soul, Li Su did not give it. As long as he resists Washan, the northern side will have an advantage in terms of nascent soul. And the formation of the Sea Clan is already breaking down. On the opposite side, nascent soul, a Sea Clan, changed his face drastically, because after Li Su shot 3 times in a row, he became the focus of attention. This guy's attack is quite fierce, but his defense ability is average. At the critical moment, his hands released terrifying thunder. But the thunder still couldn't block the Feishenjan's attack, and it was about to be pierced through. Suddenly, the water around him condensed suddenly. Several meters of water were directly compressed into a thin layer, forming a thin sheet with the same height. But it was this thin slice that forcibly blocked Jesus' flying immortal sword. The Sea Clan nascent soul narrowly escaped death, and the soul was almost frightened. "Thank you, Senior," he hurriedly said. When his voice fell, the seawater around Li Su had already changed. Water is extremely difficult to compress, but the seawater was compressed into walls, imprisoning Li Su in an instant. At the same time, within the waters ahead, a huge monster with a length of hundreds of meters emerged. "Good guy, is this a dragon?" "No, it should be a Jiao." When Li Su saw it, the huge monster looked like a dragon. "But it's not a dragon, it should be a Jiao. Its whole body is covered with thick scales, its head has 2 horns, its whole body is black, and its claws look exceptionally sharp. What kind of Sea Clan is this? Flood dragon, or dragon?" Li Su thought. The sea people in Beihai basically have human characteristics, and the upper body is human. The others are sea beasts. The black flood dragon is obviously a god transformation, but it has no human characteristics. Could it be that this is a god transformation grade sea ginger? Can even sea beasts get to incarnation? Li Su felt that the other party was not a sea beast. The black snake's body looked extremely sturdy. Not only that, it can also attack with spells. Break it. Li Su's true energy surged, and a talisman appeared instantly, turning into a gleaming golden mountain, rushing towards the surrounding area. Then he saw that the water walls around him, which were strong enough to block the flying fairy sword, shattered under the impact of this golden mountain. This Jin Shan is really ferocious. It has to be fierce. When Li Su refined this talisman, he specially found an unknown number of mountains, and laid a large number of 5-element soil formations to absorb its earth energy. It took nearly 100 years to refine this talisman. The weight of this golden mountain is heavier than a real mountain. The powerful spells used to deal with this kind of imprisonment couldn't be better. What? Seeing that Li Su actually broke a powerful spell of his own with an extraordinary talisman, the black flood dragon let out a light snort and rushed over suddenly. At the same time, around Li Su, more water formed water arrows, rushing towards Li Su crazily. "If you deal with others, leave this guy to me." While speaking, Qingyun Mirror was already driven. The current Qingyun Mirror has been refined by Ji Su into a treasure. With his current strength, driving the low-grade treasure can already exert 90% of its power. But middle-grade treasures, in theory, can only exert the power of the 5th or 6th level. But this Qingyun mirror was forged by Li Su, and Li Su still dripped blood into it, and it felt like a heart and blood connection. He is also able to exert about 80% of his power. This is more powerful than low-grade treasures, and of course, consumes more. But Li Su's top nascent soul is just not afraid of this kind of consumption. As soon as the Qingyun realm came out, Li Su was protected by a brilliant light curtain all over the sky. Although those water arrows were powerful, they were blocked one after another. Li Su's spirit power was spent like running water, and the consumption of real energy became abnormal. Ordinary nascent soul is perfect, but it really can't stand such consumption. But Li Su didn't seem to notice. He chopped off with both hands, spirit power gushed out like a flood, and Feishenjin launched an attack frantically. Ding! That black flood dragon is also strong, and it wants to kill it with the Feishen sword. But soon, it sensed the power of these flying fairy swords. Mid-grade treasure. On the scales of the black flood dragon, some traces have been wiped out. The flying immortal sword is a threat to it. Don't look at it as just a few scars now, but if Li Su stares at a little bit, he can break through there, and once it is broken a little bit, it means that the defense has been broken. This made He Zhao serious. At the same time, the nascent soul of the northern border and the nascent soul of the Sea tribe have also handed over to the people. Lu Xinshui and Lu Xinyue are not there. There are more than 10 nascent souls in the northern border here. But 3 nascent souls of the Sea clan were severely injured by Li Su, and the remaining nascent souls of the Sea clan could no longer be defeated. They're here. I'm going to meet them. In the big formation of Bixiazong, the cultivator surnamed Jin has already seen the fluctuations of the battle. He activated the Bixia treasure mirror, and the brilliance of this treasure mirror turned into countless colorful clouds surrounding it. It is worthy of being called the Bixia mirror. The effect after activation is simply eye-catching. Immediately afterwards, the cultivator surnamed Jin opened a small hole in the formation, and rushed out with all his strength. He wants to take over Beijing cultivator. All fellow Taoists, come quickly. The cultivator surnamed Jin made a sound, and the Bixia mirror also emitted more brilliant light, opening a passage. Jin Sr., hurry up and help Li Su. He is dealing with Washan. Leave the other nascent soul to us. Today we will challenge these sea clans. At this time, the voice of the owner of the purple level gate sounded. The cultivator surnamed Jin has already seen it. In the large formation before, he could only see the surrounding area due to the occlusion of the seawater. After rushing out now, he will naturally be able to see the entire battlefield. I saw a dozen nascent souls from the northern border came to support, and they were beating the nascent souls of the Sea clan. It was miserable. And the most powerful Washan of the Sea clan, the Black Flood Dragon, was actually blocked by Li Su. He Zhao probably didn't expect that he couldn't even beat a nascent soul stage human. The battle between the two became extremely fierce. While attacking Li Su with various water system abilities, the Black Flood Dragon tried to rush over. This guy's body is too scary. Once it gets close, few people can block its claws. Not only the claws are powerful, but its ability of the Dragon Clan similar to magic is even more astonishing. Water control is simple. Although Lu Xinyue and Lu Xinyue cultivated the water system cultivation technique, they were far less tough than this guy in the sea. Unfortunately, Li Su actually blocked the attack of the Black Flood Dragon. Li Su is not blindly defending and dodging. Against the existence of Washan, pure defense cannot prevent it, and it is not easy to dodge it. Therefore, Li Su defended and hid while attacking. The two sides also fought back and forth, which was very lively. Li Su, he can beat Washan like this. The cultivator surnamed Jin was stunned. At the same time, he finally understood how those 3 nascent souls from the Sea clan who flew upside down on the Bixia sex formation came about. It's not that they launch a suicide attack. Instead, he was beaten by Li Su. Too strong. Although Jin's cultivator is the pinnacle of nascent soul, he doesn't know how to get involved. Although he was shocked by Li Su's strength, his reaction was also very fast, and he opened the big formation without saying a word. Bai Luo, all of you come out. Riki kills them. The cultivator surnamed Jin gave a loud shout. Bai Luo didn't see much in the big formation, but he also felt the shock of the fierce battle outside. Hearing the voice of the cultivator surnamed Jin, she and Bai Shajing's other 5 nascent souls flew out. As soon as they flew out, they saw the battlefield. Is that Li Su? Why is he fighting that black flood dragon? That black flood dragon is a transformation spirit. As soon as a nascent soul came out, he saw the battle between Li Su and the black flood dragon, and he died immediately. Not only him, but also several other nascent souls. He's probably already completed his nascent soul, and if he can use his nascent soul's perfect power to fight against Washin Invincible, Li Su's nascent soul level must be terrifying. Kim's surname Cultivator speculates in his heart, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of envy. When I first met Li Su, he was the peak of nascent soul. Now, decades have passed. Li Su has rushed from a small rookie on the first floor of nascent soul all the way to nascent soul and has come to perfection. He's still at the top of nascent soul. Is he really a fairy spiritual roots? The Kim surname Cultivator wanted to, he was envious. One must know that over the past few decades, his lifespan has been further reduced, and there is not much left. But he is still a little bit away from consummation. Only after consummation can one further impact the transformation of the gods. The time left for him is too short. The cultivator faces many challenges, among which time is the most important one. Of course, even if each cultivator is made immortal, there are still many cultivators who cannot grow up. With the existence of the bottleneck, even if you take time to survive, you may not be able to survive for thousands of years. Sometimes, the longer you wait, the more impossible it is to pass. Because after suffering for too long, deep down in your heart, you already feel that you can't make it through. Once the belief is shaken, the momentum will be gone. At this time, the fierce battle is still going on. The Sea Clan's nascent soul is no longer an opponent, and they can only huddle together to defend passively. Their only hope is that the Black Flood Dragon can defeat Li Su. When the time comes, the battle will turn around. However, after fighting for a long time, Li Su was able to hold on under He Zhao's men. Not only that, but Li Su wasn't too embarrassed. He Zhao also needs to use all his strength, otherwise, if he underestimates the enemy and is arrogant, he may have already lost a little bit of money. Who is this human being and why is he so strong? For more than 10 years, the nascent soul of the Sea Clan was a little stunned. Not only them, but also the nascent souls in the north have achieved the same result one by one. Li Su is really too strong. The ant who is in charge of the sect is overwhelmed with splendor. She didn't make a move, but watched the battle, staring at Jisoo non-stop. Just like the mother-in-law's family watching the son-in-law, the more they look at it, the more satisfied they are. On the other side, Bai Luo's eyes also became extremely bright. Perhaps seeing Li Su so amazed, Bai Luo's affection was like a volcanic eruption, and he couldn't restrain it no matter what. This person is no more than nascent soul, why can he block the senior? His magic treasures and spells are powerful, but he can't last long. Hold on. Asterisk at this moment, those Sea Clan nascent souls were about to collapse one by one. They never expected that after fighting Li Su for a long time, He Zhao could not do anything to Li Su. Although, Li Su seems to be at a disadvantage. But He Zhao did not give up on Li Su to attack others. This is enough to show that Li Su's attack also poses a certain threat to the Black Flood Dragon. Otherwise, with the amazing defense displayed by the Black Flood Dragon, it can completely ignore Li Su. Now, here comes the problem. The Black Flood Dragon can't help Li Su. Their numbers are at a disadvantage, and they fight very hard. Open the formation and force their nascent soul to stop the water. A Sea Clan nascent soul said in a deep voice. Not for now, if they don't stop us, we will be more passive. Another Sea Clan nascent soul said. Although a gap had been broken in this large formation, the water rushed out frantically. But with so much water, it will take a long time to empty it all. They still have home court advantage. Once they opened up the large formation, the nascent souls in the northern border became ruthless one by one. Even if hundreds of millions of humans were sacrificed, they didn't care. Then they are more passive. These nascent souls of the Sea Clan can only hold on. But at this time, the nascent souls of the Bixia sect also came to kill them one by one. The cultivator surnamed Jin did not act rashly. His lifespan was at the end of his life. Seeing that Li Su was able to block the Black Flood Dragon in the stage of transformation, he decided to wait. Because he is still preparing to accumulate strength, and before his lifespan is exhausted, he will fight with his back and attack Washin. If you don't succeed, you will become benevolent. Of course, if Li Su couldn't stop him, he would still spare no effort to make a move. At this time, the battle between Li Su and the Black Flood Dragon was still going on. This Black Flood Dragon is not the same as human beings in the stage of transforming into gods. They are not majoring in primordial spirits. The defense of this guy's body is too amazing. The flying immortal sword of mid-tier magic treasures can only leave some marks on its scales. Li Su had never heard of such a Black Flood Dragon when he heard Bai Ling talk about the sea tribe in the North Sea. It keeps attacking. Li Su mainly focuses on defense. His flying immortal sword seems to be attacking, but it is actually defending. Use offense instead of defense. He just needs to hold onto it, and he doesn't want to be able to beat the opponent. The opponent is really too difficult to deal with. However, Li Su also needs to let the other party know that he is a certain threat to the other party. Otherwise, if this guy relies on defense to pervert, he will ignore him at all and attack other nascent souls. The battle is still going on. This Mo Jiao saw Li Su with a nascent soul, and actually fought with him for a long time, so he was also angry. Constantly attack. And the dozen or so nascent souls of the Sea Clan completely gathered together, defending with all their strength. Since the cultivator surnamed Jin hadn't made a move yet, and Lu Xinshui and Lu Xinyue were on guard outside, these guys could still defend. In this way, the sun beat the whole day. There is still a lot of water here. On the surface of the water, because of the fluctuation of the battle, huge waves with a height of thousands of feet were stirred up. Why hasn't he lost yet? The nascent souls of the Sea Clan were dumbfounded. It's been a day of fighting, but Li Su can still stand it. Even if Li Su's magic treasures and spells are powerful, after a day of fighting, Li Su's real energy should be exhausted. If it is two players at the same level, it is possible to fight for a few months or even longer, and they can still support it. But Li Su is fighting against a Washin-level existence. That consumption is 100 times, even 1,000 times more than that of the same level. How does Li Su sustain such consumption? These sea people never imagined that Li Su has a top-notch nascent soul. The Black Dragon's eyes were full of coldness. A mere nascent soul stage human has been fighting with it for such a long time. It doesn't believe that the true essence of this nascent soul stage human being is endless. To a certain extent, it mainly relies on its body to fight, and its ability to fight for a long time is far better than that of a cultivator. The same is true for the body cultivator's long-lasting combat ability. The Black Flood Dragon is still attacking continuously. This battle also opened the eyes of many nascent souls in the northern border. They had only heard before that there was a powerful nascent soul that could retreat completely in front of Washin, and even remain undefeated for a period of time. But never seen. And now, is Li Su simply undefeated? Been playing this all day. Only then did the nascent souls in the northern region truly see how powerful Li Su is. This kid is getting harder and harder to see through. The aunt in charge looked at Li Su like a mother-in-law looked at her son-in-law, and she became more and more satisfied the more she looked at Li Su. However, she found that she was becoming less and less able to see through Li Su. She couldn't help but glanced at the head, and found that although the head was in the middle of the battle, his attention was still on Jisu's body. Defeat them first. At this time, the cultivator surnamed Jin finally decided to make a move. He was worried that if the fight continued, Jisu would not be able to hold on. As soon as the Jin surnamed cultivator made a move, the dozen or so nascent souls of the Sea Clan couldn't stop them one by one. Open the big array. A Sea Clan nascent soul shouted loudly. Up to now, I can only gamble. Another Sea Tribe, nascent soul, didn't hesitate any longer, took out an object, injected power, and drove it. Boom. Suddenly, the shackles surrounding the formation collapsed in an instant. Countless amounts of water rushed in all directions. The water tens of kilometers high suddenly collapsed, which is not a terrible landslide. The water, if it just rushed in all directions, would level everything on the ground. Think about it, water at a height of 33 kilometers. A 100-meter tsunami on the Earth can bring disasters to coastal cities. The water at a height of 33 kilometers still collapses instantly and rushes in all directions. How big is the impact? It is a cultivator in the qi refining period. If it happens to be near there, it will be finished. Because in a short period of time, he could not fly to a height of 33 kilometers, and the speed of the water collapse was too fast, and this qi refining period would also be submerged by water. The possibility of hanging up is too great. To some extent, this is equivalent to the prestige of heaven and earth. If it is a foundation establishment cultivator, the problem is not too big. The foundation establishment cultivator can fly for a long time, and the flying speed is also fast, so it will definitely escape the inspection. Water is coming. At this time, the two sisters Lu Xinshui and Lu Xinyue, who had been guarding outside for a long time, shot quickly. I saw that the two sisters continued to play magic tricks one after another, attracting these waters into the area of the Sumeru array. These waters rushing in all directions, under the guidance of the guiding formation under Li Su, crazily rushed towards the Sumeru formation. Naturally, there is not one Sumeru formation in these 4 weeks, but many. After the water rushed in, it disappeared inside, as if there was a bottomless pit inside. However, there are still some areas where the water is too fierce and there are fish that slip through the net. The two sisters used the law to stop it. If it was really impossible to stop it, they would use sunflower water drops to absorb it. The power of sunflower water in the sunflower water drops is of great help to their cultivation. After absorbing it, their cultivation base can grow very quickly. It can also be used to hold water as well. And if Li Su uses it as a raw material, together with some other water-type treasures, he can also refine a magic treasures like a water spirit orb. Of course, just having sunflower water drops is not enough, and other things needed are also very scarce. Under the full exertion of the two women, together with the guidance of the formation arranged by the two nascent souls of Li Su and Lo Yunzong, the water rushing to the surroundings did not cause much damage to the surrounding area. Right in the middle of these waters, the great battle is still going on. It will take some time for such a large area of water to collapse to the middle. The formation is gone, and the water will rush in all directions. Uncle Jin, I'll save the water. Bai Luo was in a hurry. No need. Li Su has been prepared for a long time. We will take down these guys with one effort. The head of the ZG gate hurriedly said. Li Su ready? Bai Luo didn't expect that Li Su even got this matter done ahead of time. What? The dozen or so C-clan nascent souls were a little dazed when they saw that none of the nascent souls in the northern border panicked. Nascent soul in the north does not panic and does not save water. They will be the ones who panic. Once they release the water, once there is no water, the home court advantage will be gone, and it will be even more difficult to play. The Black Flood Dragon also realized the seriousness of the matter, and the offensive became more and more fierce. But Li Su can still hold on. Water is constantly being lost. C-clan nascent soul panicked. What made them panic even more was that Lu Yu also joined the battlefield. They lost their home court advantage, and their opponents fought more and more, which was completely unstoppable. Yu Lin Sr., we can't hold back anymore, let's retreat first. A C-clan nascent soul shouted and retreated quickly. The nascent soul of the other C-race is also retreating. There's nothing they can do if they don't retreat. There are too many nascent souls in the northern border. All of them were wounded. Go together. As soon as they retreated, more than 20 nascent souls from the northern border joined the battle against the Black Flood Dragon. That Black Dragon is too strong. With one enemy and many, they did not lose the wind. The two sides fought for another whole day, but the Black Dragon became more and more courageous. If it wasn't for the Bixia mirror in the hands of the cultivator surnamed Jin, nascent soul might have been killed already. This luck is invincible. But one day later, a piece of good news came to Li Su suddenly. Actually, in one day, he gave birth to 2 spiritual roots offspring. This is all born of his descendants. This luck is indeed invincible. Sometimes, one may not be born in a month. Now 2 are born in one day. God help me too. Li Su laughed and chose to receive the reward. Really? God-building energy, all of a sudden full. In the next second, Li Su chose Zhuju Yuanshan. He wants to break through God transformation realm in the midst of battle. It's not difficult. The battle continues. The Black Dragon has no intention of retreating at all. It is not very interested in the nascent soul in the north, but now it has a feeling of wanting to fight with Jisoo. Tang Tang has been fighting for 2 days, but he can't do anything but a mere nascent soul. If it doesn't solve Li Su, don't even think about getting the sacred artifact fragments in Bixiazong. Likewise, it will also become a stepping stone to Ji Suwei's fame. In the future, when Li Su's name is in the world, others will mention it as the background wall. It's a shame. I'm afraid, in its heart now, defeating Li Su is more important than getting the sacred artifact fragments. Li Su was also unafraid. Breakthrough in this fierce battle can actually make his foundation more stable. Therefore, Li Su is also fully fired. The battle between the two sides suddenly became more intense. Those nascent souls from the Sea Clan also wanted to come in to join the battle from time to time, but Lu Xinshui was able to send them away. Who made these guys suffer in the previous battle? It hurt too much. In this way, another day passed, and the two sides have not yet decided the outcome. The nascent souls in the northern region also gained experience in battle. In fact, the main reason is that He Zhao identified Li Su. Otherwise, these guys don't have it so easy. Li Su's experience of cultivating gods has not been absorbed yet. Until the 4th day, after 4 full days of fighting in this battle, the Black Flood Dragon finally got a little impatient and rushed towards the cultivator surnamed Jin. After it found that Li Su could not be dealt with in a short time, it obviously planned to get rid of these flies first. The cultivator surnamed Jin hurriedly drove the Bixia mirror, but this time, he couldn't completely block it. In the treasure mirror, the true energy left by Bailuo's father has been consumed too much. Backquote. PFF. Jin's surname is Cultivator, and he vomited a mouthful of blood. Although he has experienced the power of Washan in the past few days, it is not as profound as it is now. The Black Flood Dragon rushed over fiercely again. Shoot together. Many nascent souls shot together, but they couldn't stop the Black Flood Dragon at all. Just when the nascent souls were all startled, suddenly, not far away, a terrifying aura rose into the sky. Together with this breath, the aggressive black dragon stopped suddenly, turned his head, and looked in Li Su's direction in surprise. No, he's about to break through. The nascent souls of the Sea Clan were all shocked. Transformation God, he is going to break through Transformation God. Nascent soul in the north was also shocked. How could it be so fast? The ant in charge took a deep breath. The head of the sect was also stunned, looking at Li Su. Too fast. As a result, many nascent souls in the northern border did not have time to rejoice. Everyone can't believe it. The black dragon turned around sharply and charged towards Li. I want to interrupt Li Su. But the Li Su breakthrough process, how could it interrupt it? Li Su laughed loudly, and the aura on his body quickly became stronger. His primordial spirit has already taken shape. In the next second, the surrounding world was shaken. Everyone felt a terrible coercion. Behind Li Su, a terrifying titan, exactly the same as Li Su, suddenly appeared. As soon as this titan appeared, all the animals with a radius of thousands of miles felt palpitations to the extreme. This is the soul of Li Su. Nascent soul has already merged into the primordial spirit, and combined with the divine soul, it is the primordial spirit. In the next second, the primordial spirit entered Li Su's body. The aura on Li Su's body suddenly became unprecedented. Successful. The cultivator surnamed Jin stared blankly. He couldn't believe it at all. Li Su breakthrough Washan, just like that, it's a success. It's a matter of course, without the slightest twists and turns. When the cultivation base arrives, it is a success. There is no bottleneck at all. Is this the fairy spiritual roots? The cultivator surnamed Jin thought blankly. He's already turned Li Su into something like spiritual roots. Not just him. All of you nascent soul, be amazed. There was a lot of surprise in the headmaster's eyes, but soon, she burst into a smile. Li Su has become a deity. TTE. Happy for Li Su too. On Lu Xinshui and Lu Xinyue's pretty faces, there was also a look of joy. Their husband has actually become a god. Washan, in the entire northern territory, until now, there is only one. Now, there is one more. Now, it's my turn. As soon as Li Su made a breakthrough, he attacked the black dragon fiercely. At this moment, the black flood dragon discovered that it could still gain the upper hand from before, but now it could not beat Li Su completely. Li Su broke through to transform into a god, This combat power is simply overwhelming. Not long after the fight, the Black Flood Dragon was wounded by Li Su. Go. Sea Clan Nascent Soul saw that the situation was wrong, and was already retreating. The Black Flood Dragon's eyes were full of unwillingness, but Li Su is too strong now, it can't beat it at all. What's more, after fighting for such a long time, its consumption is not small. If the fight continues, once the head of the Bixia sect returns, it may confess here. So, this guy turned around and ran away. Li Su was not so relieved that it left, and chased it all the way, chasing the Black Flood Dragon all the way from the Bixia sect to Beihai. This powerful team, led by Washan Heizhao and possessing more than a dozen nascent souls from the Sea Clan, was beaten away by Li Su alone. Seeing that this guy entered the North Sea, Li Su threw out a large number of formation flags without hesitation. In the sky, already the black cloud is dense. Thunder tribulation is coming. Still the same as before, this time the thunder tribulation. Li Su wanted to collect the thunder and make the purple night thunder. This was also the reason why Li Su was in such a hurry to drive the black dragon away. He wants to survive the thunder disaster. The thunder tribulation in the transformation stage, the purple night god thunder created, is even more powerful. In the distance, many nascent souls from the north have just caught up. Then he saw the scene of lightning and thunder in the sky. Lei Jia came to Li. Boom boom boom, the terrible tribulation thunder fell. Li Su sent out a series of attacks to defeat these tribulation thunders. The tribulation thunder was too terrifying, it seemed that Li Su's whole body was immersed in the thunder. This tribulation thunder is really good for body tempering and tempering the primordial spirit, but you must grasp the speed carefully. If you are not careful, you will hurt yourself. Li Su thought. Although he defeated these tribulation thunders, in fact, Li was not completely defeated. He also left a little bit for body tempering and tempering his own primordial spirit. Some powerful body cultivators like to use thunder body tempering. Not only thunder, Lai Yan, Ice Soul, Gang Feng, etc., are all ways of powerful body cultivator body tempering. Shu Shou's body is strong, and his defense is also strong. In this way, they can make their own body stronger. In the future, when faced with corresponding attacks, it will also be able to resist better. As for Yuanshan, you need to be careful. Shenhan is very afraid of thunder. The nascent soul is not simply a divine soul, it is a combination of the nascent soul and the divine soul. The current primordial spirit is the energy center of the whole body, and it may mobilize the power of the whole body, including the true essence to right the soul. Therefore, the primordial spirit is naturally not as afraid of thunder as the divine soul, but it should not be easily separated from the body until it is strong enough. Li Su is now using some GLA's energy to refine his soul. Not only that, but there are some strange energies contained in this tribulation thunder. If the primordial spirit can absorb a little bit, there will be more miraculous energy. Li Senior's lightning calamity is so terrifying, it is more than 100 times stronger than my nascent soul period's thunder calamity. The sect leader of the Wind Thunder sect murmured. As the weakest fairy sect leader, Fenglei sect leader is only on the second floor of nascent soul, and has not yet broken through the third floor. His aptitude is actually limited, and he became the head because he wanted to be free. His name for Li Su changed very quickly. As the head of the immortal sect, there is still a need for the head's presence. Even if Li Su's cultivation base surpassed him before, everyone is nascent soul, and he called Li Su fellow Taoist. But now, he has changed his name to Senior. Even Li Su's age is far younger than him. In the repairable immortal world, strength comes first. Beside the sect leader of the Fenglei sect, many nascent souls looked at Jisoo enviously. Apotheosis. That is the realm they all pursued. But among them, many people are still a long way from the nascent soul late stage. Li Su actually achieved this. How can this not make them envious? Apart from envy, the astonishment in their eyes has not disappeared yet. No way. Li Su is too fast. Amazingly fast. Li Su is only in his 250s now. Washan, who is more than 250 years old. It's just unbelievable. Although they have heard that there is a genius, a 100-year-old nascent soul, and a 200-year-old Washan. But that's just hearsay. Although they are nascent souls, they have rarely left the northern border in their entire lives. For them, the development in other places may not be comparable to that in the north. Even if they enter some very powerful fairy gates, such as second-rank fairy gates, their spiritual roots are actually limited, and the future can be seen at a glance, and at most they can get a position like a foreign affairs elder. Enjoy some resources every year. It won't be taken too seriously, it's just an officer. That's really not as good as being the head of a fairy sect in the northern border. As for establishing a sect in a more prosperous place, it's even more unrealistic. That's their territory, so they just go there. Even if one can establish a sect, it is far less comfortable and able to have such a status in the northern border. And the northern border has become more and more prosperous. Now, seeing Li Su achieve Washan, these nascent soul realized how high and thick the sky is, how heaven-defying the real one is. In their minds, Li Su is 100% a horrible spiritual roots like fairy spiritual roots. This also saves Li Su a lot of explanation. The head of the sect, Shang Guangshui, also fixed his eyes on Li Su. As the owner of the real fairy spiritual roots, after the foundation is restored, the leader will naturally not be as envious as nascent soul in the northern region, because it is not difficult for her to transform into a god. She is happy for Li Su, although Li Su once again surpassed her even more. But in the past, her foundation was not stable, and her cultivation speed was limited. Now she is naturally different from before. Boom. The thunderstorm is still going on. This thunder calamity also attracted a large number of immortal cultivators who came to the North Sea to hunt sea beasts from afar. There are many types of sea beasts, some raised by the Sea Clan, and many not raised by the Sea Clan. Some sea beasts ate some treasures in the sea by chance, and they were able to grow up, and then no matter humans, sea tribes, or other sea beasts, they were all food in their eyes. The rules in the sea are the most intuitive interpretation of the rules of survival in nature. Big fish eat small fish, and small fish eat dried shrimps. Survive innocent. No one would condemn a whale for eating several tons of fish in one feeding. Very scary. Those seem to be nascent soul senior from the north. Yeah, I've seen several heads. What are they doing? Protecting the senior of transcend tribulation. This thunder tribulation gave me an amazing feeling. It is even more terrifying than the nascent soul thunder tribulation I have seen before. What kind of thunder tribulation is this? Far away, a large number of cultivators gathered together. They can go out to sea to hunt demonic beasts. Most of these cultivators are foundation establishment, and they also have gold core. As for chi refining, even if there is, it can only be the late stage of chi refining, or even the peak. Otherwise, if you go to sea, you will die without knowing how. Because there are too many thunders around Li Su, no one has recognized Li Su yet, but some people have recognized the nascent souls in the north. These cultivators were captured by the breath of nascent souls, so naturally they didn't dare to go there rashly. Everyone watched with awe. The thunderstorm lasted for several hours. Li Su defeated the last tribulation thunder, and then let out a long howl. The long howling sound went straight into the sky, and the thick clouds in the sky were instantly swept away. Thunderstorm is over. Apotheosis has been completed. Although the world is still that world, but in Li Su's eyes, the world has changed again. The world has once again become incomparably vast. It's not that the world has changed, but that his position in this world has risen to another level. It's like climbing a pyramid. If you want to see 1,000 miles away, go to a higher level. After going up to a higher level, the world you see is naturally wider and more magnificent. Li Senior, that's preseason. Why is Li Senior in transcend tribulation again? Didn't he just become nascent soul decades ago? It can't be a transformation god. Hiss, Li Senior breakthrough has turned into a god. This lightning calamity is so terrifying, there is a possibility. At this time, the cultivators around who were attracted by Lei Jia became commotion after recognizing Li Su. I'm afraid, it's really a transformation. A gold core cultivator made a guess. Wu K Senior, is Li Senior really a breakthrough? A foundation establishment cultivator asks. The expression on the gold core cultivator's face was also a little shocked. He took a deep breath. It should be. Hiss. There was a sound of gasping for air all around. Apotheosis. Li Su has actually become a deity. Became the second avatar of the North, power. Sky. Zijin Yuanshan. Li Su smiled. After accumulating more than 5,000 points of god-building energy, the primordial spirit built by Li Su is indeed the strongest in history. It is also the level of Washan. The height of Yuanshan can be judged from the color. His primordial spirit is astonishingly purple in gold. Not only that, but his primordial spirit also absorbed a trace of strange energy from GLA, which gave Li Su some insight, which might be of great use in the future. The current primordial spirit cannot be separated from the body for too long. The god of transformation will only sacrifice its own Yuanshan when it is in a desperate fight. That is equivalent to Gold Core Cultivator offering Gold Core against the enemy, and Nascent Soul Cultivator offering Nascent Soul against the enemy. It was a last resort situation, desperately. The advantage is that Gold Core, Nascent Soul, and Primordial Spirit are separated from the body, and they will cast spells more quickly and burn their true essence directly, and their power will be greater. But, it is also more dangerous. In general, more cases are used to escape. Immediately afterwards, Li Su's figure moved and appeared below. There are a large number of large cauldrons, and a large amount of thunder is stored in these large cauldrons. Li Su wants to refine them into Zishao Shenlei as soon as possible. In the sky, seeing Li Su getting busy again, many nascent souls didn't bother, but waited quietly. This time, after 3 full days, Li Su finally refined all the thunder after the robbery had been dispersed into a purple night god thunder. He didn't refine it into multiple pieces, but one. He has a lot of methods, there is no need to refine them into multiple ones. Just one, guaranteed power. The thunder energy gathered by this purple night divine thunder is too terrifying. Li Su reckoned that even if the Washan middle stage was hit once, it would lose a layer of skin. After refining the Zishao divine thunder, Li Su put away the surrounding formations. Seeing that Li Su had finished his work, the nascent souls from the northern border surrounded him. Congratulations to Li Sr. for becoming a god. Kim's surname Cultivator also changed his name. His mood was a little complicated at the beginning, with envy and emotion at the same time. But now, the cultivator surnamed Jin has strengthened his confidence in owning after seeing Li Su's successful breakthrough. Congratulations Li Sr., other nascent souls also came. Expressed own congratulations to Li Su. Congratulations, Li Su. It was the head's turn, and there was a rare smile on the head's face. There are many people here, and she didn't say much. Master. Although Li Su became a god through breakthrough, he still didn't change his title of head. On the side, the ant in charge saw Li Su more and more pleasing to the eye. Congratulations, G Senior. Baguio also came, and she looked at Li Su with extremely bright eyes, her eyes filled with love for Li Su. This time, thanks to Li Senior's action, and thanks to everyone, the head is coming back soon. Li Senior, everyone. The generation head of Jin invites everyone to visit the Bixia sect to repay your kindness. How does Li Senior feel? At this time, Jin surnamed Cultivator said. Several days have passed, and the head of Bixia sect, Bai Luo's father is coming back soon. While the cultivator surnamed Jin was speaking, he mainly looked at Li Su. Can. Li Su agreed. Just alright, let's meet other transformation gods. Other nascent soul naturally has no opinion. Then, the group set off again, flying from Beihai to Bishaing. And with the departure of Li Su and nascent soul, those cultivators around were greatly shocked and discussed excitedly. As immortal cultivators, there are not many things that can excite them. But now, another deity has been born. It was still Li Su, an extremely young avatar. Apotheosis is extremely rare. Even if it is a gold core cultivator, it may not be possible to see a deity once in a lifetime. Can now. They witnessed the birth of a deity with their own eyes. This kind of thing, not to mention the foundation establishment period, is the gold core period, and it may not be possible to see it once in hundreds of years. How can this not make them discuss more excitedly? Bixiazong. The many nascent souls are back again. Near Bixiazong, calm has been restored. All the water that collapsed before was absorbed by Suerjun. Some fish that slipped through the net were also blocked by Lu Xinshui, Lu Xinyue and the others, or absorbed with sunflower water drops. The water in the Sumeruere still needs to be treated, and the water is actually not a big problem now. Thanks to Li Senior's formation, otherwise so much water poured down, I don't know how many people would die. Yes, Loyan sect leader and other nascent soul praised. Li Su's eyes were on Sumeru's line. The water in the Sumeru array still needs to be dealt with. There are so many nascent souls here. This little water is actually not a problem. At this time, above the sky, two streamers of light rushed towards them rapidly. Father is back, Baguio said happily. Li Su saw that the two beams of light and aura were above Washan, which represented two Washans. Looking at it this way, Bixia sect leader also found a helper. Those two streamers came very fast. It was still on the horizon 1 second, and it was above the Bixia sect the next second. The light dissipated, and everyone could clearly see the figure inside. Two people, one is a middle-aged man who looks in his 40s. The other was an old man who looked about 60 years old. These two people exude a powerful aura. Father. Baguio flew towards the middle-aged man. This middle-aged man is her father, the head of the Bixia sect, Bai Haili. The old man next to him should be a helper he was looking for. Baguio. What's the situation? What about the Sea clan? Bai Hai looked around and asked. After receiving the news that Bixia sect was being attacked, he found a helper and rushed back as quickly as possible. Along the way, he was still worried whether the Sea clan would break through the formation. But when he came back, he found that there were no more Sea clan around here. The surrounding area has also been cleaned up by disciples of Bixia sect. Baguio and many nascent souls in the north are also safe and sound outside. This puzzled him. Father, the Sea clan has already been repulsed by Li Su. Baguio rode. Li Sr. As soon as Bai Hai turned his gaze, he felt a special aura on Li Su's body. That as impressively also belongs to the same kind, or the aura of the same level powerhouse. The other party is also a transformation god. This made Bai Hai and the old man's eyes fall on Li Su. Fellow Taoist, but Li Su? Bai Hai asked. The same as the transformation of the gods, so it is naturally Daofa. Exactly. Li Su said. Thank you fellow Taoist for your kindness. Fellow Taoist 277 has shown great kindness to me, Bixiazong, and received Bai's first worship. Bai Hai saluted Li Su. Li Su. Bai Sr., you're welcome. Li Su said. I don't know where the fellow Taoist came from. This time, thanks to the fellow Taoist who passed through my northern border, otherwise my Bixia sect would be in danger. Bihai rode. From this appearance, he regarded Li Su as a cultivator who happened to pass by from the northern border. He had only been away from the northern border for decades, and he knew nothing about the northern border. He knows how many nascent souls there are in the northern territory, and what level these nascent souls are. In a few decades, it is impossible for a cultivator to emerge out of nowhere in the northern territory. Even if Washan is going to appear, it should be Bixiajing's Jin surname cultivator. It couldn't be anyone else. Except for the cultivator with the Jin surname, the strongest person in the northern territory was the head of the Ziji sect, and the other party was also the 8th floor of nascent soul. But the distance between the 8th floor of nascent soul and Washan is not something that can be smoothed over a few decades for the head of the Ziji sect. Therefore, it is completely reasonable for Bai Hai to regard Li Su as a passing cultivator. Father, Li Sr. is my cultivator in the north. After Bai Hai's voice fell, he explained beside him. Northern cultivator. When Bihai heard Baguio's words, she was a little puzzled. Immediately, he reacted. The fellow Taoist was also born in the northern border. This means that Li Su should have been born in the north, but after growing to a certain level, he left the north. In the northern border, there are quite a few cultivators of this kind, especially some excellent ones from spiritual roots. Since the other party did not grow up when they left, it is possible that foundation establishment left, and later, it is usually gold core. Naturally, he didn't come into the sight of Bai Hai, who is the god of transformation. He didn't know him, but it was normal. Baguio also understood what his father said. Quickly explained. Father, that's not the case. Li Sr. has been in the northern border and has never been out of the northern border. Have you been in the north all the time? Have you never been out of the north? Bai Hai reacted again. So, has the fellow Taoist been cultivating in the northern region? Most of the resources in the northern region are in the hands of the immortal sect, and compared to other regions, the resources are relatively less. The fellow Taoist can quietly pass the transformation of the gods. It must be an amazing talent. Bai admires it. He actually is not talking nice words, but the truth. He has been in the northern border for so many years, but he has never heard of Jisoo. He knows how difficult it is to cultivate to become a god. He has such a big Bixia sect, so it is so difficult to guarantee the cultivation resources he needs. For example, Li Su has been cultivating quietly, without any contact with any fairy gate, without showing any clues. The difficulty is much greater than him. Therefore, his admiration is also sincere admiration. Father, that's not the case. Li Sr. has been in Wangshenzhou before, and he came to the northern border more than 40 years ago. At that time, Li Sr. was nascent soul. Baguio watched On's father think more and more crookedly. Every time he figured it out, he actually went on a new path, so he quickly explained. Li Sr.'s talent is amazing. In such a barren place as Wangshenzhou, he obtained the nascent soul at the age of 209. Now Li Qian is only 251 years old, and he is already a god. Baguio was afraid that On's father would think wrong again, so he finished talking all at once. Following her words, her father's expression slowly changed. There was also surprise in his eyes. Friend Li Dao, is this true? Bai Hai looked at Li Su and turned back. He couldn't believe it. 209-year-old nascent soul, 251-year-old Washan. Why does this sound so unreal? Even the cultivation trajectory of a genius is not like this. After practicing to the later stage, each level takes longer. For example, it is rumored that the 100-year-old spiritual roots nascent soul and the 200-year-old Washan have completed the breakthrough of 4 realms in the first 100 years of the opponent's Qi refining foundation establishment gold core nascent soul. It took more than 100 years to break through the gods. This is the time pyramid of cultivation. This pyramid is an inverted pyramid. That is to say, the apex is at the bottom, and it gets wider and bigger as it goes up. Because the lower realm takes less time, the higher you go, the longer it takes, so it is an inverted pyramid. From here, the importance of a batch of basics is over. Think about it. How heavy will this inverted pyramid be at the top? But the base part is the spire. If the spire is not strong enough, wouldn't it be crushed instantly? Li Su's time is obviously wrong. Only arrived in nascent soul in 209. Result. From nascent soul to Washan, it only took more than 40 years. This made Bai Hai subconsciously feel disbelief, but he also knew that his own daughter never told lies. Seeing that Bai Hai and the old man who turned into a god both looked at him, Li Su had no choice but to say, yes, Bai Hai Sr. The other party is much older than him, and realm is also more advanced. Li Su is still willing to call senior. As for the future, if Li Su's strength exceeds the opponent too much, we will talk about it later. Sect leader. Li Sr. has obtained an inheritance in the Xianmen ruins, but Li Sr.'s talent is also extremely astonishing. Li Sr. is not only excellent in cultivation base, but also has reached Grand Master status in terms of formation. At this time, the cultivator surnamed Jin also spoke. Bai Sr. Li Sr. is really amazing in formation. I have always wondered why, with Li Sr.'s talent, why did foundation establishment take place at the age of 100? I didn't understand until I saw Li Sr.'s accomplishments in formation. Come over. Loyan sect leader also said in a tone full of admiration. Li Sr. must have been obsessed with formation when he was young, and spent too much time on formation. This is the 100-year-old foundation establishment. Compared with Li Sr., I am a dead wood. I have studied formation for hundreds of years. Not as good as Li Sr.'s decades of research. Loyan sect leader sighed. It's not just about formation. I'm afraid you don't know how powerful Li Sr. pill refining is. Dang Shizong sect leader also spoke. Li Su hasn't shown off his pill refining skills yet. One time, Li Su went to Dang Shizong and wanted to see some basic pill recipes and classics of Dang Shizong. Naturally, Li Su didn't look in vain. After all, he still owed the sect leader of Dan Xinzong a favor. He sent nearly 10 children with pill refining talent to Dang Shizong. Therefore, Li Su gave Dang Shizong's sect leader a medicine pill and taught him how to refine it. This allowed the sect leader of Dang Shizong to see the leopard through the tube and see Li Su's terrible pill refining attainments. Li Su's exposed tip of the iceberg made the sect leader of Dang Shizong feel ashamed. How terrible will Li Su's pill refining attainment be? Oh? Li Sr. can still pill refining? The ZG sect master was curious. Of course, the last time Li Sr. taught me how to refine Tianji pill, although it was hand in hand, but until now, I have not been able to refine Li Senior's fineness. Dang Shizong sect leader said, Tianji pill. Many nascent souls have heard of this medicine pill, and the expressions on their faces are a little moved. This is a medicine pill that is very beneficial to nascent soul, and the effect is very good, but no one in the north can refine it. Unexpectedly, Li Su would be able to teach Dang Shizong sect leader. Haha, fellow Taoists, don't worry, after I'm proficient, everyone will have a share. Seeing the expressions of nascent souls, the sect leader of Dang Shizong hurriedly said. Dang Shizong itself will also sell medicine pill, and it is not a big deal to use medicine pill to make friends with nascent soul in the north. I didn't expect Li Dao to achieve pill refining so quickly, no wonder the 100 Years Foundation establishment. Yeah, if Li Dao hadn't studied these things when he was young, he would have entered the country so quickly. The words of the sect leader of the Danshin sect reminded everyone of the nascent souls in the northern border. Here, it has become a large-scale brain supplement scene. Every nascent soul is thinking up a reasonable explanation for Li Su's growth model. There is great power in numbers. Let's brainstorm together, don't talk about it, it has to be more and more like that. Not only pill refining, my husband is also good at refining weapons, you see, this is a low-grade treasure that my husband refined for me. At this time, Lu Xinshui took out the water cloud mirror that Li Su refined for her. Lu Xinshui didn't intend to speak at first, so she tugged at the corner of her clothes. Lu Xinyue is very smart, she naturally doesn't know that Li Su has gold finger and so on. She can't think of such a gold finger in the system. But Lu Xinyue also felt that there must be something special about Li Su that is not known to the public, and it should not be exposed. That's why Lu Xinyue sent a voice transmission to Sister Own and asked her to come forward, so that the brains of the cultivators in the northern border became more reasonable. Inferior treasures. Many nascent souls looked at it one after another. Bai Hai also looked. It is indeed a low-grade treasure. After feeling the power of Shuiyan mirror, the old man beside Bihai took a deep breath and said. Hiss, Li Senior can even refine low-grade treasures. God. What else does a senior G not know? Many nascent souls in the northern region were shocked again. No wonder, people say that the immortal spiritual roots is 100 years old, and nascent soul is 200 years old. It took Li Senior more than 250 years old to become a god. Originally, he went to study other aspects. Li Senior's talent, his comprehension is too scary. Yeah, without good talent and understanding, whether it's formation or pill refining. It is as difficult as climbing to the sky. Li Senior is simply the darling favored by the heavens. God opened a door for Li Senior, and even opened several windows for him. The nascent souls were shocked one by one. Even after all these years, they have accepted the fact that Li Su is evil. Also thought of many possibilities. Especially the spiritual roots, some nascent soul brains into spiritual roots that may not be as powerful as the fairy spiritual roots. After all, only extremely powerful spiritual roots can support the rapid growth of a cultivator. It can be explained that Li Su grew up so fast after he created spiritual roots. But at this large-scale brain supplement site, when everything about Li Su is completed, each of these nascent souls was greatly shocked again. I have to be shocked. Formation, pill refining, refining equipment, these three things have little to do with spiritual roots. This requires talent, understanding, and practice. Li Su's formation is amazing, and it has already been known to everyone. It also happens to explain why Li Su is a 100-years-old foundation establishment. But today, everyone learned again that Li Su's pill refining and refining equipment are also very good. The power of pill refining is still relatively abstract, but refining is proved by low-grade treasures. Ability to refine low-grade treasures, that's great. In fact, not only the nascent souls were shocked. When Bai Hai and the old man who turned into gods heard the voices of the nascent souls, the expressions on their faces became more and more exciting. Naturally, it is impossible for these nascent souls to unite to play them. Especially there are Bihai's daughter and Bixiazong's nascent soul. Therefore, what they said is very likely to be true. The two looked at each other, and they both saw deep surprise in each other's eyes. 209-year-old nascent soul, although she is amazingly talented, but if the spiritual roots is really high, it is still normal. But at the age of 251, Wazen's accomplishments in formation pill refining are still so amazing, even if he may have obtained many inheritances or opportunities, that is too scary. What? The point is, Li Su was born and raised in the north. Haven't been outside at all. It would be better if Li Su was cultivated by someone like Sacred Land. But it is not. How is this not surprising? All of a sudden, Bai Hai and the old man, the two dignified transformation gods, were all overwhelmed by shock. I didn't expect a genius like Li Daoyu to appear in my northern territory. It's really a blessing in the northern territory. Bai Hai finally suppressed his shock and said to Li Su. Compared with him, Li Su is indeed a genius among geniuses. Beside him, another old man who turned into a god looked at Li Su with a look of astonishment. At the same time, there are also doubts. From his point of view, he doesn't understand why a talented man like Li Su should stay in the north. Although the northern border is prosperous, it was affected by the Great War tens of thousands of years ago, which is far inferior to other places. The Great War devastated the North Territory too thoroughly. Not only all the mortals in the northern border were wiped out, but also a lot of strong people in the northern border died. The inheritance of many powerful ancient immortal sects was cut off, and the spiritual veins in the northern border were also destroyed. After tens of thousands of years of recovery, it is still far from being restored to its peak. Otherwise, why would some geniuses in the northern border choose to leave after growing to a certain level? In the realm that cannot be broken through in the northern border, if you go to other places, you may have a breakthrough. At this time, neither Bai Hai nor the old man of Washan knew about Li Sus taking a concubine. Such things, so many nascent souls, are naturally not easy to come up with. In the eyes of the current Bai Hai and Washan elder, Li Su must be an extremely outstanding spiritual roots, and his talent and comprehension are also astonishingly good. That's why there is such a terrible growth rate. If they knew that Li Su was either taking concubines or taking concubines these years, they wouldn't know how shocked they would be. Bihai Sr., let's work together to get rid of the water. Li Su said. After the water was cleared, Z withdrew the flag. Okay. Just right, my Bixia sect needs a big lake, so let's lock this piece of water in Shaw's 21 in the west. Yuanhua fellow Taoist, help me build mountains and lakes. Bihai Road. It is good. Another old man who turned into a god said loudly. Boom, in the sky, a mountain fell down, blocking a gap between two mountains. Bai Hai and the elder Washan worked together to create a lake and transform a vast swamp to the west of Bixiazong. That swamp is huge, with a radius of 10,000 li, and the terrain is very low. You only need to block the gaps between the surrounding mountains, and you can put water in here, turning this place into a place where spiritual qi is abundant. After reaching nascent soul, he can use the power of heaven and earth in a small amount. After becoming a god, you can get in touch with more rules of heaven and earth, use more power of heaven and earth, and make own attacks have greater power. Even for nascent soul, the method of turning into a god is like the method of a fairy. The numerous nascent souls all watched in shock. Boom, on the other side, there was a huge movement in the west. This is Li Su. In the sky, several mountain peaks fell down at the same time, blocking the gap between the 2,000s of feet high mountains. Haha, friend Li Dao, you can do it alone, and we are too. Bai Hai laughed loudly. Li Su is assisted by formation and is faster than them. Numerous nascent souls are also shooting, blocking some smaller gaps. In this way, under the joint efforts of 3 transformation gods and more than 20 nascent souls, the transformation of the terrain was completed in only 7 days. This is different from digging Mangkang Mountain. The terrain of this swamp itself is very low, and it only needs to fill in some gaps between the mountains, and there is no danger. Immediately afterwards, under Li Sus operation, water from several Sumeru formations was poured into it one after another, and it took a few days to turn this place into a vast lake. In the lake, small islands can be seen from time to time, which are actually some hills. My friend Li Dao, thank you very much. Everyone, thank you. Above the Great Lake, Bihai expressed his gratitude to Li Su and to the many nascent souls in the north. The Bixia sect has set up a big banquet today to invite you all to repay your kindness. Bai Hai sent invitations to Li Su and many other nascent souls. A grand banquet begins. Bixiazong took out many treasures and entertained many nascent souls. Li Su became the protagonist of this banquet and was invited by Bai Hai to sit at the top. Friend Li Dao, please, this is monkey wine, fellow Taoist love how about it? Bai Hai poured a glass of wine for Li Su. Hearing about monkey wine, several older nascent souls expressed hope. Bai Sr., is it the monkey wine from Monkey Island? The head of Zijiman asked. That's right, monkey wine is too rare to come by, and I managed to get 100 caddies, so I'll give some of it to entertain you today. Bai rode. The maids have already poured wine for the nascent souls. Li Sr., Monkey Island is located in the depths of the East China Sea. There is a kind of monkey living on it. The wine it brews is famous all over the world. But if you want to get this wine, you need to meet a request from the Monkey King. The Monkey King's request is often very tricky. Even if I wait, I may not be able to do it. Seeing that Li Su had some doubts, the leader of Jimin explained. Li Su took a sip of wine. This wine is indeed very good. After drinking, every pore of the body has a relaxing feeling. Not only that, this wine is also very beneficial to the soul. No wonder it is so famous. Moreover, this is the wine brewed by monkeys. This world is full of wonders. By the time the banquet was over, it was already late at night. Bixiazong gave a generous gift to everyone, and the generous gift to Li Su was even more generous. There are no spirit stones in it, because Bixiazong's spirit stones are consumed a lot this time, and I don't even have spirit stones anymore. But Bixiazong, as the most powerful third-rank fairy sect in the northern region, has occupied the most resources in the northern region for a long time, and Bixiazong's other collections are very rich. Among the generous gifts for Li Su, there are a lot of heavenly and mortal treasures. In addition, there are 20 caddies of monkey wine. The 20 caddies of monkey wine made Bai Hai feel a little pained, but in order to express his gratitude to Li Su, he still took it out. Bixiazong also arranged accommodation for the nascent souls, but the nascent souls left one after another, because they had to go back to their own fairy gate to take a look before they felt relieved. Li Su also left. Friend Li Dao, you have just broken through and still need to consolidate, so I won't keep you any longer, but after you have consolidated, you must come to Bixia sect as a guest. Let's have a good exchange. Bai Hai invited. Li Su agreed. Several flying boats rushed to the northeast. Xin Shui, Xin Yu. I will look back at Shenzhou first, and then I will go to Shuiui Gate. Okay, husband, Li Su said goodbye to the two sisters. In this way, soon, only Li Su, the head, and the head's aunt were left. Li Su hasn't been home for more than a year this trip, so he naturally wants to go back and have a look. The head and her aunt are on the flying boat next to them. The head is still standing at the forefront of the flying boat, facing the moonlight, with thousands of stars printed in his eyes. He still looks so magnificent. I don't know what she is thinking. After thinking for a while, Li Su simply put away his flying boat and came to their flying boat. However, after arriving at the flying boat in charge, perhaps because the aunt in charge was there, Li Su was suddenly speechless again. After several days and nights passed by the flying boat, Rilu flew into Feishenying. Xiaoshui, I'm going to take a look at the elixir garden. The aunt in charge left. The leader is at the front and at the back. In this way, all the way to the back mountain. Li Su didn't say why he followed the head. The head didn't even ask. In the back mountain, everything is as usual. It is still a great hall, plus some secret rooms for closed-door training. The place where life has been in charge for hundreds of years is terribly simple. For hundreds of years, except that she has become stronger and stronger, the surrounding area has not changed much. Finally, the door stopped. Li Su also stopped. Then, the headmaster turned around, and a pair of bright eyes looked at Li Su on his pretty cheeks. Li Su, do you have something to say to me? Asked the master. Forehead. Li Su was questioned. Now, he has finally become Washan. For the past 200 years, Li Su has been thinking about it day and night. From when he was a mortal to now, the obsession has lasted for 200 years. That is to ask the head to give birth to a baby for him. No, having a baby is just the result. The most important thing is to want the head to be his woman. This obsession is too deep. However, in the past, Li Su's strength was not enough. Before the foundation establishment, Li Su's idea was even deeply hidden. Now, he's finally turned into a god. But Li Su suddenly found out that he didn't know what to do. Could it be possible? And said to the head, Master, can you give me a baby? Poochie, on the opposite side, the master smiled. This smile really feels like a smile of Bai Meisheng. Like thousands of flowers blooming, even Li Su's heart beat a little faster. This was the first time Li Su saw her smile like this. Master, you are so beautiful, Li Su couldn't help it. These words made the headmaster blush. Congratulations, Li Su. The master said softly. Thank you, master. Li Su said. No matter where Washan is, he is a strong party. However, Washan is a link between the past and the next, which has a great impact on the follow-up. You must not be proud. You still need to be down to earth and concentrate on cultivation. There is still a long way to go. The leader advised. However, halfway through the exhortation, the head suddenly thought of it. It seems difficult for Li Su to concentrate on cultivation. Over the past 200 years, how many concubines has Li Su taken? Not to mention anything else, after Li Su set foot in the northern border, the number of concubines he took was frightening. But Li Sun accepted so many concubines and rushed to Washan so quickly. The head of the sect no longer had the intention to advise Li Su to concentrate on cultivation. Go by Li Su. She is now overtaken by her apprentice, so how can she be persuaded? Master, do you still have the medicine pill I gave you earlier? The head stopped trying to persuade her, but Li Su cared about her again. Also, I'm also going to closed door training. I want to rush to Washan. Master said. The head wants to rush to Washan in one go? Also yes, she is the fairy spiritual roots. Nascent soul at 100 years old, transforming into a god at 200 years old. This is the most widely circulated sentence in the rumors about the immortal spiritual roots. If calculated according to this speed, after her foundation was repaired, she had practiced for more than 10 years before, and I am afraid that it would not take many years before she could break through and transform into a god. The foundation was damaged before taking charge, and it took too much time in the gold core stage. But she's definitely playing the fundamentals really well. Maybe it can be done thickly and thinly, and it can really rush to Washan in one go. Master, these medicine pills are here for you. I specially refined them for you to strengthen your soul. This is the pill for building up the soul. It is useful for building up the primordial spirit. It speeds up the condensation of true essence. Then, Li Su took out a large number of medicine pills. This was refined by him and Bai Ling intermittently during more than a year of traveling in the northern region. Naturally, Li Su also carries all his wealth with him. The things used to refine medicine pill and refining equipment are naturally carried with you. He can even refine storage bags by himself now. The refined storage bag has a very large space, and it can also hold very large things inside. Li Su is also starting to research more advanced storage rings. It's just that there is no prototype, no corresponding materials can be found, and there are some troubles. As long as you give him a storage ring and find some materials, Li Su can be easily refined. Seeing that Li Su stuffed himself with so many things again, the door was a little certified. Master, rush to Washan as soon as possible. Li Su put everything into the storage bag and put it in her hand, said. After looking at Li Su for a few seconds, the door closed the storage bag. Although she helped Li Su at the beginning, in the view of the head, Li Su has helped her too much these years. Thank you, Li Su. The master looked at Li Su and said seriously. Then, she turned around and walked inside. She wants closed-door training to shock Washan. This time, closed-door training will last for a long time. What, Li Sr. has become a Washan? After Li Su returned to the Li mansion, a piece of news spread across the northern border at the speed of a hurricane. This news is naturally the news that Li Su has become a god of transformation. In a short period of time, it spread throughout the major fairy cities in the northern border. Li Su has become Washan. This news is too heavy. Every cultivator who heard it was overwhelmed. Apotheosis. For thousands of years, there has been only one Washan in the northern border. What about thousands of years ago? The northern territory was still relatively depressed at that time. Although tens of thousands of years have passed since the Great War, the restoration of the northern border has not been uniform. After the seawater receded, the recovery of the northern border was extremely slow in the early stage. Although the seawater at a height of 10,000 zhong has receded, the entire northern border is still a swamp country. It slowly recovered later, but it was once dominated by demonic beasts, and human beings could not survive at all. The recovery of the spirit veins and spiritual chi also took a lot of time. In fact, the prosperity of the northern region mainly came about in the next few thousand years. This is similar to the development of civilization on the Earth. It was in the primitive stage for a long time in the early stage, and then experienced an explosive growth in thousands of years. In this, the role of immortal cultivators is very great. Now, the Northern Territory has a second avatar. Changing the cultivator with the Jin surname would not cause such a sensation. After all, the Jin surname cultivator has been in nascent soul for thousands of years. However, this deity is Li Su. This has a sensational effect. Li Sr. is only over 200 years old, and he has become a god of transformation. This is too powerful. It's terrible, even the disciples of Sacred Land can't compare with Li Sr. I expected that Li Sr. would become the god of transformation soon, but I didn't expect it to be so soon. In the northern border, all the cultivators who received the news were shocked to the extreme. So that, this time, Li Su did not prepare for the celebration after he became a god. As a result, a large number of cultivators from the north came to Li's residence. Soon, the heads of the various immortal sects also sent people to send congratulatory gifts. Now, it will not work without a celebration. Therefore, Li Su held a grand celebration in the Li mansion. The celebration was extremely lively, and most of the cultivators from the north came. Here, the number of nuns is abnormally large. Obviously. After Li Su achieved Washan, I don't know how many girls want to marry Li Su. Washan and nascent soul are completely different sizes. South of the northern border is Zhongzhou. Zhongzhou has a powerful first-rank fairy gate, Gaiyuanzong. Speaking of which, I am also a disciple of Gaiyuanzong, but I was not valued in Gaiyuanzong. After I arrived at Gold Core, I came to the northern border and founded the Bixia sect. At that time, the northern border was far less prosperous than it is now. In Li Mansion, Bai Hai's voice sounded. After the celebration ended, Bai Hai stayed behind. Bai Hai Sr., are the Japanese immortals Sacred Land? Li Su asked. Bai Hai shook his head. The first-rank Xianmen can't be regarded as Sacred Land. The foundation of Sacred Land is incomparable to the first-rank Xianmen. However, the first-rank immortal sect is also extremely powerful, not much worse than Sacred Land. The minimum standard for Gui Yuanzong entry is the 4th-rank spiritual roots, and the 5th-rank spiritual roots can only enter the affiliated sect after many tests before they can enter. Possible. Li Su Ming understood. Looking at it this way, the area where the northern border is located, the most powerful is the 1st-rank fairy gate. And no Sacred Land. Friend Li Dao, Bai has something to do. At this time, Bihai talked about the business. Senior, please speak. Li Su looked at him. Bai Hai looked at Li Su with burning eyes, and said, the fellow Taoist is so evil, and there are some talents in the northern border. If the fellow Taoist is willing, Bai is willing to recommend the fellow Taoist to enter Gaiyuanzong. Yuanzong and Gui Yuanzong sect leader are probably willing to accept you as a direct disciple, and if you want to be an elder, it is absolutely fine. Return to Yuanzong. First-rank Xianmen. Although the first-rank Xianmen is not Sacred Land, the difficulty of entering, needless to say, will be extremely high. Below the 4th-rank spiritual roots, no charge. The 5th-rank spiritual roots can only have the opportunity to enter Gaiyuanzong after passing multiple assessments in the affiliated sect. This requirement is not generally high. There are not many 4th-rank spiritual roots. Li Su took so many concubines, and now the number of descendants of spiritual roots has broken through. But the 4th-rank spiritual roots among Li Su's descendants add up to a dozen. You must know that Li Su has a systematic probability bonus. Don't look at the system's probability bonus as very low. Even if it is a reward of a round number, it is only 0.1%. But this probability is many times that of others. Coupled with the fact that Li Su's cultivation base is still here, it is so difficult to create spiritual roots above the 4th rank. Let alone others. In the entire northern border, there are countless billions of people, and there are not many 4th-rank spiritual roots. Perhaps, one day, when the population of the northern border returns to the level of tens of thousands of years ago, and the spiritual veins are further restored, the number of 4th-rank spiritual roots will increase. Wanting more geniuses naturally requires a larger population base. With Gui Yuanzong's high requirements, I don't know how many immortal cultivators are willing to join it. Once Li Su joined, the treatment was very good. Even Gui Yuanzong's sect leader is willing to accept Li Su as his apprentice. Li Su wants to be an elder, and enjoy the elder treatment of a first-rank fairy gate, that's totally fine. A sect leader of the first-rank Xianmen, I don't know how powerful it is. This is replaced by the first-rank spiritual roots genius, I'm afraid everyone will be willing. But Li Su doesn't want to. He is not the real fairy spiritual roots, the real fairy spiritual roots are his master. His current spiritual roots are still 5th rank spiritual roots. Gui Yuanzong, as the first-rank immortal sect, must be very comprehensive in testing the magical item of spiritual roots. Alien spiritual roots, immortal spiritual roots, should be able to be measured. Once measured, Li Su appeared. On the contrary, it will squeeze other people's brain space, arouse suspicion in vain, and cause extra problems. In addition, Li Su's growth does not require self-cultivation. His growth model is unique, and it is useless for him to join Sacred Land, the head of Sacred Land and the like to personally accept him as an apprentice. So, not willing at all. He still lived his own life in peace and stability, taking concubines, giving birth to children, cultivating excellent offspring, and then lying down to upgrade, how comfortable. He hasn't finished accepting the female cultivators with outstanding qualifications in the northern border yet. My friend Li Dao, to be honest, it is also good for me to recommend a genius like you to enter Yuanzong. Over the years, I have occasionally encountered some outstanding super geniuses from spiritual roots, and I am unable to cultivate them. Then he was sent to Gai Yuanzong, and he could also get the benefits given by Gai Yuanzong. Speaking of this, Bai Hai sighed. There is no way to do this. It may take tens of thousands of years for the northern border to return to its former glory. Friend Li Dao, it doesn't matter if you don't want to go, I'm just an invitation. In addition, if Gui Yuanzong gets some information about you, I'm afraid he will send someone to invite the fellow Taoist. Bai Hai told the whole situation. After speaking, he just looked at Li Su, waiting for Ji Su's answer. Li Su pondered for a while, and said, Bihai Senior, I'm afraid I will disappoint you. I am not planning to leave the northern border for the time being. This answer did disappoint Bai Hai a bit. No problem, no problem. But he quickly revealed the matter, and he didn't feel dissatisfied because of it. Li Su asked Bai Hai some more questions. Learn more about the situation around the northern border. Friend Li Dao, there is one more thing about my daughter. At this time, Bai Hai hesitated for a moment, and said another thing. To tell you the truth, my daughter Baguio has a deep-seated love for fellow Taoists, and she wholeheartedly wants to marry fellow Taoists. As for status. Having said that, Bai Hai hesitated again. This is his biggest concern. During these times, he has a comprehensive understanding of Li Su. Needless to say, after learning that Li Su has taken so many concubines and can grow up so fast, Bai Hai is also eye-opened, and at the same time has a clearer understanding of Li Su's evil talent. But the problem is, her daughter, Baguio, wanted to marry Li Su wholeheartedly, and even had a showdown with his father. The point is, Baguio still doesn't care about the status of wives and concubines. He is in the stage of transforming into a god. In the stage of transforming gods, even in Zhongzhou, in the first-rank Xianmen Gaiyuanzong, they are still strong and respected. A daughter of power, who transformed into a god, went to be someone else's concubine. Even if this person is another god transformation, Bai Hai subconsciously cannot accept it. But he also felt that if he came forward, he would ask Li Su for the status of a regular wife or an ordinary wife. It seemed a bit abrupt, and Li Su might not agree. Li Su is not a deity who survived by time. It's a young god who is more than 200 years old. Bihai was already more than 2,000 years old when he transformed into a god, nearly 3,000 years old. His spiritual roots is not particularly outstanding, not 4th rank, but 5th rank. This spiritual roots, in the previous Wang Shenzhou, it is difficult to achieve nascent soul. But he was rushed to Washan abruptly by Bihai. But he also felt that he couldn't move forward, and that he had exhausted all his strength and luck to reach Washan. He was originally in Gaiyuanzong's affiliated sect, but with his own efforts, he finally entered Gaiyuanzong, but he was still not taken seriously. Once he went to the northern border to look for opportunities, and accidentally obtained the inheritance of an ancient immortal sect, so that he was able to transform into a god. This is also the case in immortal world. Some excellent spiritual roots may not grow up. Especially those who entered the country too quickly, ended up being too proud and neglecting their Xinsheng, which led to unstable foundations and the invasion of Heart's Demon. Heart's Demon is still scary. This thing is not something that you can avoid if you have excellent spiritual roots. At the beginning, the leader almost hung up on this. Bai Hai has lived for so many years, and has seen many geniuses cut off their careers because of the Heart's Demon, ranging from severe injuries to severe injuries, and even losing their lives. But Bihai still achieved Washan with 5th rank spiritual roots. This is not to say that spiritual roots are not important, like Bai Hai, who has lived for thousands of years. Because of the restriction of spiritual roots, there is not much rhythm going up. Compared with him, Li Su is simply a monster. What Bai Hai can foresee is that as long as Li Su does not die, becoming a god is far from the end of Ji Su. The future achievements are terribly high. You know, Li Su is not only fast in cultivation. Heretics are equally powerful. Such a Li Su, even if the current cultivation base is under him, Bai Hai doesn't despise him in the slightest. Under such circumstances, Bihai wanted the status of a regular wife for his own daughter. He didn't even have much confidence himself. Although On's daughter is outstanding, she is not a real genius after all, and the current cultivation base is only nascent soul. So, after Bai Hai hesitated for a long time, he finally spoke again. Friend Li Dao, if you are interested in Baguio, you should marry her as soon as possible. As for the status, whatever you want. Bai Hai resigned to her fate. In front of Li Su's monstrous evildoer, now that realm is obviously stronger than Li Su, he also chooses to compromise. Of course, the attitude of the daughter is very important. If it wasn't for his daughter who came to have a showdown with him and insisted on marrying Li Su as a concubine, he wouldn't have considered it at all. Even if you want to make friends with Li Su, after all, he is a Washan power, there is no need to make friends with own daughter. Then, soon, in the northern border, the matinee ceremony was held. This wedding made the northern border lively again. The head of Bixia sect, a daughter of power, married Li Su. God. Did you even connect with Anna, the god of transformation, before the season? Yeah, I didn't expect that even the daughter of Washan would marry Li Sr. as a concubine. Maybe people don't care about status, and besides, Li Sr. has become a deity in his 200s, how high his achievements will be in the future. In the northern border, many cultivators became hotly discussed again. This wedding was naturally extremely lively, and many nascent souls in the northern region prepared a large number of gifts to go there in person. This is equivalent to the marriage of two deities. How could these nascent souls not pay attention? On the wedding night, Li took off the red hijab. Baguio was already blushing. So, this night became extremely romantic again. Baguio lived in Li's mansion. Maybe because of her physical condition, it was not easy to conceive, and after more than 3 months, Baguio had Ji's baby. After learning that she was going to become a grandfather, Bai Hai felt a little happy. He has lived for too long, and he only has one daughter in Baguio. As for his wife, she is dead. He loves his wife very much, and she appreciates him from the bottom of his heart. His wife's encouragement also helped him overcome many difficulties. Therefore, Bihai did not remarry after his wife died, and he did not plan to remarry in the future. His lifespan is actually not too long. After all, his cultivation base hasn't had a breakthrough in years. Li Su, after Baguio's child is born, I'm going to go outside to find opportunities. I'll leave the northern border to you. You can decide what to do about the Bixia sect. After Bihai came to visit her pregnant daughter, she said, there are not many resources in the northern border that can support Washan above. The medicinal herbs in Li Su's hands are difficult to refine the useful medicine pill above Washan. The elixir obtained in the ancient fairy gate last time was still a little too low level. Although it has a long growth period, it is limited by their own functions, so it is difficult to refine the medicine pill that is useful for transforming gods. Therefore, Bai Hai decided to go out to find opportunities so that he could break through realm. In the past, he was not at ease, but now that Li Su was there, Bai Hai was also relieved. After Baguio became pregnant, Li Su took several more concubines. The next year, Baguio gave birth to Li Su's first baby. After Bihai came to see the baby, she really left. After leaving, I don't know how many years will come back. The master is still in closed-door training. I don't know how long it will take to send it out. Li Su continued to take concubines. Isn't Ghost's child born yet? It's been a year and a half, Li Su thought. He was about to blow the conch to ask about the situation, but the system prompt appeared. When Li Su saw it, his eyes suddenly changed. He gave birth to a baby of the first-rank bloodline, obtained the bloodline feedback, and 256 years of cultivation base and experience. Not only that, but this baby also has a special physique called the Heian Spirit Physique, which has also nurtured Li Su's physique. At this time, the conch rang. Li Su took out the conch and came into contact with Bai Ling's consciousness in the sea oyster. Su, my daughter is born. Her bloodline is terrifying, even higher than mine. Her physique is also very special. Bai Ling's consciousness conveyed a string of information. This immediately let Li Su know how the reward and feedback he got this time came from. It actually came from Bai Ling's daughter, and this daughter's bloodline is very terrifying, and has reached the first-rank bloodline in the system's assessment. Bloodlines are similar to spiritual roots, but in a different form. First-rank bloodline is equivalent to first-rank spiritual roots. This daughter of him and Bai Ling actually has a bloodline equivalent to first-rank spiritual roots. Although this is blood, not spiritual roots. But, it's also amazing. Not only that, this daughter also has a special physique. It just took all the benefits. My girl, heaven-defying. Li Su couldn't help thinking. He couldn't wait to see his own daughter, so after Li Su told his family, he flew to Beihai.